Howdy y'all, I'm Corey.
I'm Scott.
I'm Lucas.
Welcome back to Travel the Board. I've been counting down my top 100 of all time. These guys have been counting down their top 30. It's finally time for the top 10. You guys excited?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I know this is the first time you guys have ever, really done this. This is, the main show. This is what everybody's here for. Some of these people probably didn't watch the first 90.
Good.
But they have to say, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm disappointed in you. That's just listen, those last two videos are only 4 hours of your life.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you watched all of them because of those last two, it's at least 8 hours. Combined for all of them.
They're board gamers. What else they got to do?
If they did watch them all, thank you. My watch time very much appreciates it.
Put them on while you're playing board games.
Anything special before we jump into it to say about your top 10? I will say for me, because I've done this for 5 years at this point, I have 2 brand new games in my top 10. Brand new to my top 10 and brand new to me this last year. I played them for the first time this past year. And I have one that's jumped into the top 10. That was out of it and has jumped up into it. So.
I have all 10 of mine are brand new.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
And actually only one of them is new.
Brand new.
In the last year, yeah.
So it's all mine are from the 70s.
I have 2 mini ones.
2 mini ones. Do they also involve VHS tapes?
No.
Okay.
That's the bottom of the list.
God, I wish you said yes so bad. Alright, top 10. Let's go. Alright, number 10.
Number 10. Alright, so my number 10 is the game that if you watched the last video, it's one of the ones I'm known for.
Honestly, in my opinion, it's the game you're known for. I really think it is. It's because it's the game that you've played and introduced to us the longest, I would say. And the most frequent.
Yeah, that's fair.
And before you were really a collector, it's the first game you owned extra for.
Oh yeah, because the first few expansions were awesome.
But yes, well the first one's needed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to get it out of the way, that's King of Tokyo.
Yeah.
And I will say that I would put King of New York in with it because I think that they are similar enough that the gameplay is not that different. But I think that I really enjoy this game. It's simple. It's easy to teach. If you don't put all the expansion stuff with it, it's easy enough you can play with kids.
Or elderly.
Or the elderly.
Just imagine grandma, alright, we'll roll these dice, we're big monsters, we're gonna fight. Yes. What?
I taught my 70-year-old aunts how to play Exploding Kittens, so to be fair, they could figure this game out.
That's fair.
I lost that game to one of my aunts.
That actually is very interesting to me because you win the majority of our games in our group. You have the highest win percentage. The 3 of us typically win, but you have the highest win percentage, I think. It's been judging. So for her to beat you makes me go, what if she played all of us?
I wasn't playing that hard. I was trying to be nice.
Pulling your punches against Nana.
Well, I didn't want her to be left out, but that's another game. This game is solid. I think it's great. There's not really a bad way to go about it. Obviously, buying everything is kind of a pain if you're trying to get everything, but
I would argue for someone who wants this game but isn't oh my god, I must have things. I would say buy Power Up, because if you don't buy Power Up, there's no point in playing the game in my opinion. Outside of playing with kids. Get Power Up and get one expansion. Just look at which ones they are, which one you think's the coolest. Do you want Halloween? Do you want Anubis? Which one looks the coolest to you? Get one expansion.
I strongly suggest Anubis if you want a game.
If
you want one that affects the game. The other 2 are cool, or other 3 are cool. I think Anubis is the most fun.
Yeah,
King Kong's also up there, but
King Kong's fun with the accessories.
Yes.
But Cthulhu is mid.
Cthulhu's evolution cards for Power Up are awesome.
Yeah.
Everything else about that character is kind of it's basically Kraken 2.0.
Yeah, it's mid.
Yeah.
It's mid. But Halloween is really good. But Halloween and the one you just said, King Kong, are good. I think Anubis is just it's S tier, it's top tier.
I agree. Honestly, if you're looking at the game just to get into it, I do think the monster box is worth it.
Well, I mean, it comes with one expansion.
Yeah,
So
it comes
it comes
with
with power up and expansion. So actually, this is your perfect starter kit.
Yep. And an extra, which is the Baby Gigasaur,
Oh, yeah,
which I've not played with, nor do I know anything about. So
Yeah. All the promos would be so much cooler if they came with power up cards. Yeah.
take notes.
Instead of just little figures.
100%. Oh no, I actually think that's my number one complaint is
Yeah.
that I love the promos. Some of the promos are some of the coolest things. There's even one from Name of the Wind, which is one of my favorite book series.
Obviously, I'm biased, but I think the Dice Tower one's really cool.
The Dice Tower
It's
one's super
super cool. The Rook, it's so cool.
But no evolution cards means I will never play those cards, like ever.
And also because it's already been on my top 100. That's somewhere in like the 80s, I think. I really like this game. I'm going to take a guess. I don't think it's in your top 10. So if this is the last time we talk about it, YOLO. Stop hating money. Enjoy money. Like money. Give us miniatures.
Please.
We'll pay you. We will give you money.
Lots of money.
Lots of money. It doesn't have to be anything else. Just literally release the Kickstarter miniature set. Oh, I wonder what else is in there. Nothing? Cool. Here's money.
If you added evolution cards for promos as well, even more money.
Even more money. God, why do they hate money? God, there's so much money to be made with this. All right, there's
King of Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Well, my number 10 is not the first worker placement game I've ever played, but one of my favorites, Lords of Waterdeep.
And one of the best.
Yeah. This is the first game for me where the worker placement actually fit the theme. Because there's so many, it's like they're villagers, and they gather mud, and you build mud huts. There's like 15 different versions of that.
Yep.
And it gets real old, real fast. But I like being a Lord of Waterdeep where I have 3 clerics I'm sending to complete a quest that is religious in nature.
Yeah, like it fits. Like what characters you're collecting or what classes you're collecting fit the quest you're sending them on. I love that. I will say this is actually because if you remember, it shot up my list this year because I played it so much. This is actually one of the games I'll be upgrading next. So I'm known for upgrading the absolute bejesus out of my games. This one is getting upgraded next because I really hate the little cubes having to look at someone and go, "That's a cleric. It's purple." I'm going to get the little meeples.
The wizards are purple.
Yeah, the wizards. Thank you. The clerics are white. Thank you. But being like, that's a wizard, I'm going to get the little upgraded meeples because I think it'll just make the game even better.
I agree, yeah.
I'll even go so far as to say I didn't even realize they were different things. I just thought they were color
They
cubes.
were color cubes.
I had no idea they actually were. And I've played this game multiple times.
Well, that's what I mean. It'll make it so much better if I can look at you and be like, there's a wizard.
Yep.
You're
100%.
sending 4 wizards and 2 clerics and a warrior to do this thing.
And they're all expendable.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right after the quest, we throw them away.
Exactly. Or we return them to the pool to be reused.
Have you played Skulls of Greyport, the expansion?
have not.
I have not either. It's literally been saved in my Amazon cart for 6 years. It's been saved for 6 years. I will get it probably this year, though, because it shot so far up my list. Because, like I said, I'm going to upgrade this game. So in the next 6 months, I will get Skulls of Greyport and upgraded Meeples. That's my goal. And then we'll play.
Okay, I'll be there.
Alright, my number 10. This is one of the new games to my list. It just barely beat it, but that's a big deal because if you watch the end of my 20 to 11 video, this is the game that pushed One Night Werewolf out of my top 10. Yeah. Love this game. So, I talked about Raiders of the North Sea and how the base game is incredible. 2 expansions take it to a whole new level. This game is exactly the same. Base game, incredible. 2 expansions, whole new level. Nidavellir. Nidavellir is an awesome game. The base game is so simple. You've got your 5 different classes of cards. They all score in different ways. You're trying to gather each one in sets in certain types of ways to score more points. And each one of them scores differently so that everyone at the table is probably going for a different strategy, but then one person at the table is probably going for the same strategy as you, so you're trying to duel that person. And because there's 5, you typically specialize into like 2 of them, and there's so much variability for how it plays. I will say I've played this game so much that I have tried all of the combination strategies, and it's pretty balanced. It's very similar to Seven Wonders. Seven Wonders, if somebody gets all the science cards, they just straight out win. If someone gets all the minors in this game, they straight out win. So as long as the table isn't dumb enough to give one person all the minors, it's a very balanced game. The 2 expansions just take it to a different world because one of them involves different factions. Like it adds new scoring ways for giants and fairies and elves, and they all create side scoring tracks essentially. So you're doing your 5 base things plus you've got side scoring tracks that you're trying to do. And then the other one, so the way the game works is it's have either of you played this one?
Yeah, we've
played
played
this. Yeah, you haven't.
I have no idea what you're talking
Really?
about.
Okay.
No, you remember because Carson won.
Oh yeah. He won with minors.
Yeah,
Yeah, he won with minors.
No one took
we
him.
didn't know yet. As the second time I ever played. First time I played, me and Lauren played crap out of this game. Lauren really likes it. And she even likes the expansions. Typically, Lauren won't play with expansions, but she really liked this one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's set up into 3 sections, and you have to like take one, then the next, then the next. This one the other expansion turns the 3 sections into taverns, and each tavern has like its own abilities. So you're over here doing tavern abilities here. You've got your tableau here. You've got the side tracks here. Once you get all these extra expansions in it, and it just makes the game grow just like Raiders. And so like base game, this would still be in my top 100. 2 expansions, number 10. It's a great game. Like I said, it pushed One Night Werewolf out. And this is one that I feel like I can bust out anytime, anywhere. Know the rules pretty much by heart, and just boom, we're ready to play.
Excellent art. Fun time.
Great art. Yep. It's got like that black and gray like shadowness to it that makes the little hints of color for the different factions like pop and look great.
It's that Misty Mountain aesthetic.
Yes. Yeah. I can think of. Yes, you're 100% right. Yeah. Great game. Nibblier, number 10.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Oh, okay, so number 9 has story.
God.
This game has always been fun. I like a little bit of politics. I enjoy.
I just pieced together what.
The story. Yeah.
Yeah, I just pieced together.
I like politics. I like social deduction games. Pretty good at them. And so this game lets me do a little bit of both.
It shocks me genuinely. When I first found out about this game, it shocks me that it was allowed to be made.
I got a great story about one copy of it that got sent to a state senator, if you ever want to hear about it. But anyway, that game would be the one and only Secret Hitler, demonetized.
I mean, maybe.
It's funny.
No, we're past the first 2 minutes. It's fine.
That's true. Yeah, easily. It's funny. It's memey. I think it's relatively well balanced if you know what you're doing. It does get a little less. I would say it gets a little less fun. That's the only reason it wouldn't be higher for me. It gets a little less fun the more people are familiar with the mechanics.
Yep. I have a story about that real quick. Probably multiple stories. How many times have we played this and Corey's lost track of how many rounds there are? We get to the next to last round and Corey goes, "Yeah, we won!" I've done that at least 3 times. Literally blown the game because I miscounted the number of rounds and I celebrated too early.
But one time, we ran the table.
Yes, we did.
And it was a legendary moment, and that will go down as one of my favorite moments of my entire life, was looking up, seeing Corey and going, "Oh no, these people are about to have 0 fun."
We were so confident. We both opened our eyes to see who our partners were. Well, there was another person because there was 3 of us.
Yeah, but he didn't open his eyes because he was the Secret Hitler.
Right, but we knew who.
Oh yeah.
And we looked, and like we both saw him first, I think, and we were like, "Oh, okay." And then same time, heads turned slowly and looked at each other. Evil grins go across the face, and we just look around the table and apologize ahead of time. You all just lost.
Yep, 100%.
So
and here's the thing: the third person we had wasn't good.
No, he was so bad.
We carried him. In fact, he almost lost us the game twice, but we came from behind. We persevered, nevertheless.
2 other things about the story. We need to actually sit down one day and maybe do a video of actually just telling stories start to finish.
I would love to.
We might need to do that actually. Anyway, 2 final things about the story. One, we were there as guests at a party.
Yep.
One of the hosts of this party got to see my roll card and saw that I was a bad guy. And I absolutely gaslit him into letting me win.
Yes.
He was like, "No, I know you're a bad guy." And I was like, of course, the table. I was like, "No, I'm not." And he was like, "Yes, you are." I was like, "If I was a bad guy, would I want you to vote for this guy?" And he was like, "Oh, dang, I can't get around that argument. All right, let's vote for him." I literally got him to vote for him.
You made the whole argument of, well, you already know I'm a bad guy. So, at this point, it's not worth, if I wanted you to vote for them, then clearly that would be the wrong choice. And I was like, no, that makes perfect sense.
I completely gaslit him into doing exactly what I wanted him to do. And, I didn't even try that hard.
Nope.
I basically just looked at him and went, "Yeah, not me, bro. Not me. That guy, not me."
My favorite part was just going, Guys, I really don't know. I think I got to play the devil's advocate and be like, no, I don't think we should listen to this guy. Like, clearly, if he's bad, we shouldn't listen to him. No, he's cooking. No, I don't think he is. Maybe we shouldn't listen to him.
He saw my card and he still did what I said to do.
See, this is the thing that can happen with you.
It's
Also,
so
the
good.
cards are adorable and they have little dinosaurs on them if you're the bad guys. So that's kind of fun.
It is really good.
I do kind of wish you had a gavel.
Yeah.
Not that it's useful.
Yeah.
I just
I
feel
like
like
the
it's
depth
needed.
to this one because, like most social deduction games, are very baseline. They're very simple. I like how much depth this one has.
I agree.
Yeah,
and
the mechanics
the
are good.
nameplates moving around is really cool.
So good. So
honestly, I think this is a game that could have an expansion. I don't know how you exactly go about it, but if you had an expansion that would allow a little bit more gameplay to the like a little more strategy to it, this would be an instant classic for a lot of people. So.
Yeah.
But it's a meme for now, and it's on my top 10, number 9.
It did not make my top 100, and for a simple reason. It's not that I don't like the game. It's that I like so many social deduction games that it had to get pushed away.
Sure. No.
Because like social deduction is one of my favorite mechanics. So like it just had to get pushed down the list.
One thing that is hard about it is it has a high barrier of entry in terms of number of people.
Yeah.
You have to, if you have 5 people's not fun. You have to have at least 7. Honestly, it's best at 10.
Yeah.
If you can get 10, that's the best time.
I agree entirely. Yep.
So that makes it hard to bring to the table. Secret Hitler, number 9.
Good one.
My number 9, I know it's on both of your lists somewhere. Villainous. Because...
Wrong.
It's on your list?
Not on his list.
Really? Okay, well, that's fair.
Lucas has unfortunately been a part of the like 2 to 3 bad experiences we've had, but not a part of some of the good ones.
I played a 6-player game on it.
Okay, yeah, well, that's where you messed up.
What's the right word for what I did in that game? Coached 5 players who couldn't figure out how to play this game for 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours, yeah.
Yeah, well, don't listen to them. Let me sell you on Villainous.
Hey, it was my number 18.
Okay, so I think it's great because you can play it with non-gamers very easily, and Corey's wrong. It is a 2-player game if you want it to be. It's not as good as a 3 or 4-player game, but it can be a very decent 2-player game, so that's one of the reasons I really like it. And there's a billion of them. But the reason I chose this one specifically is because Radigan has the best theming of any of the villains, hands down.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you, my guy. I'm with you.
It's chef's kiss perfect.
So good.
Some of them have like a stapled on theme. You're like, okay, this is what I'm doing. And a lot of those that do have a good theme, it's impossible to do. Like Hades, theme's great. It's on point. It's impossible. You're going to hate your life.
Yes.
But Radigan,
I was
perfect.
so excited for Hades 2 until I started playing and I got a little bit down that path and I was like, oh, I go back to the beginning? No. I'm done.
After this, what, 4 times? I can just quit now. That's fine.
Me and Lauren played a 2-player game and I played Hades. I never got the first one.
Yeah.
I never got the first of the 4 to the end before she just kept, and that's again, problem in my opinion with 2-player game, she just kept fating me, that card kept rotating out, and she realized as long as every other turn she fated me, I couldn't win.
Mm-hmm. That's not true for all of them.
Right, no, with that character,
Sure.
she realized if she fated me every other time, I couldn't win.
And kudos to any of you that have the edition with the Black Cauldron in it, or the Evil King with all the misspellings. It's pretty great. The Curdrin.
I have it.
It's
I
really
have
fun.
Literally, the moment I found out about it, I looked and I have it.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
It's on my face every time.
Yep. But I actually plan on down the road doing a video where I'm going to rank the characters.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. It's Villainous is one of my favorites. I love it. It's very good. And Radigan, go ahead and spoil this for down the road. I don't care. Radigan's number 1.
For sure.
I
Hands
love
down.
Radigan. So good.
Play it.
Me and Lucas actually got this at our first Gen Con in 2019, this first copy. We went down into the middle of the field in Lucas Oil Stadium and played it. I played Radigan. I think you played Scar.
I did.
And it was fantastic. It was great. That 2-player game worked out fantastic. That 2-player game worked out really well.
It felt good, yeah.
Yeah. It's, I'll say, it can work at 2 players.
Yes.
There are just certain games that it's like, if we have 2 players, I can pull out 50 other games I'd rather play.
True.
So if I'm going to pull Villainous out, it's with 3 or 4. I guess that's the best way to put it.
So for those of you with a Disney princess in your life and you need a 2-player game, I got you.
Yeah. You like it literally double as much as me, because 18 and 9.
Well, I don't want to say I don't enjoy the game. Well, my thing with it is, for me, I like games that mess with other people. I don't enjoy Fate. I think the fates are often unbalanced, where sometimes you draw a card and it does nothing, and then I've just wasted my time. And then I play Captain Hook basically every time I've ever played it.
Because you do that to yourself, though.
I know, but I'm determined to find a way to win. I've never gotten close.
Right? Hades is probably harder than Captain Hook, but in the base set, Captain Hook's definitely the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hard. I will say in the Fate decks, I do have an issue as well, because in terms of balancing. Fate deck, I don't know, let's just call it 20 cards. It's got 20 cards in it, and there's a lot of, like, copies, right, of, like, some of the ability cards. So let's say 3 of them. So 3 of 20. Most of the time, you're just fishing for those, because those are the ones you want to get out, and every time a Fate card flips that's not that 3 of 20, you're like, all right, I just got to keep going. I don't care what it is. I need one of those 3. Like, that's the... I agree. The imbalancing on that, I wish they would tweak. Yeah. But it's a great game. It just needs... I genuinely love the game. It's my number 18. And, I mean, if you remember me saying, my 18 are on, like, their own mountain. Everything below 18, like, there's a gap. So this is in it. It's just, it's got issues that could be fixed, but I feel like they're a little more concerned about pumping them out than they are tightening that up.
Mm-hmm. Components, though. Oh. All across
amazing,
the board.
Yep.
The little boards, the cards, the little standees, except for Venom. Awesome.
Yeah. It is, and you may know this, but also in Star Wars Villainous, Kylo Ren's is... Oh. Kylo Ren's is kind of rough. But I will say this, again, about components. It is one of the only games I've ever played that has a single fold board that when you unfold it, is flat.
Yep.
And you don't have to dang near break it to flatten it out.
And the little booklet that teaches you how to play each character fits perfectly in that board.
Yes.
It's a little packet you can hand someone and go, this is you. This is all you have to know.
Literally, when I teach this game, I pull everything out, I give everyone their characters, I'm like, I'm not going to explain crap to you. Which character is your favorite? And I just give them their favorite character, and then I go, here's the base idea. I can explain the whole thing in like 2 minutes, and then I go, read this book and leave me alone.
Yes.
That's why I love it.
Yeah, 100%.
Hand them a book and you're done.
Yep. You just teach them, here's how fates work, here's what the little things are, we're going to be taking turns, you move around the thing, boom, here's your book.
Because that's usually the cancer of getting a new gamer into games is like, all right, let me learn this rule book for an hour while you sit there and do nothing. That's usually how most games die on the vine.
Yep.
Villainous just, this is what we're doing.
Yep.
Read this.
Yep.
Done.
I remember, and I will story this one, I don't think I told it when I brought Villainous up on my list. The first time I ever played Villainous, I was at a local game group, just meetup night, and the guy brought it out, and he was like, hey, I just picked this up, and I've been wanting to play it, can we play this? I made an audible groan. I did not want to play it. I audibly went, I guess, like, I did not want to play it. Literally bought it the next day.
Yeah.
Fell in love with it. And, like, this would be one of my top surprises in gaming ever. Because in front of 5 people, this is the first time I met them too. In front of 5 people I didn't know, I audibly groaned. Because I did not want to play it, and I ended up falling in love with it.
Yeah, I think most gamers have that reaction too, where it's like, this is for children, yes?
Yes.
Well, to me, it also just looked like one of those, like, non-good Walmart, like, you know, I have a few of them that are not great, and you put it on the table, and you're like, yeah, we're going to get through this, but I regret it. But it was not. It was great. Yeah, and also I didn't know enough about publisher at the time. If I'd realized it was from Ravensburger, it would have got a little bit more grace from me. I didn't know enough at the time, because this had been like 6 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I highly approve. My number 9. I'm excited to talk about this game because no one else has talked about this. I'm dead serious. I don't care if 10 million people watch this. Did 10 million people watch this? Probably not. Probably not. If you have seen any other reviewer, streamer, whatever YouTube channel put this game, even in their top 100, tag them. I want to know because no one else has. I guarantee it. But I bet everyone else has put its sister game in the top 100. Me and you, I think, have already had it in our top 100. Everyone loves Quacks of Quedlinburgs. Nobody talks about Taverns of Tiefenthal. Taverns of Tiefenthal is a hidden gem. I've seen some people in like comments of Facebook and stuff be like, oh, I like that game, it's okay. No one will sing this game's praises like me. I love it. This is the best dice drafting game I've ever played. I love the flipping of the cards. You build your deck, and literally everyone plays simultaneously, which this company and designer are fantastic because you do the same thing in Quacks. You play simultaneous, and literally you're just flipping cards until your entire deck is laid out there. Then you draft your dice, and you lay them out there, and then you see what happened. And then you clean it all up, and you do it again. and you're adding cards to your deck, you're burning cards from your deck. So it's a deck building dice drafter. It blends beautifully, and it has count them, two of my favorite things when I look at a game. It has 2 rondelles. And I get to go round and round those truckers. I get to literally go, how many times can I go around this thing? Literally, I bet I've played this game pushing 50, 60 times. I don't think I've ever won it. Not once. Because my favorite strategy is not a winning one. I just admit to it right now. I don't play this game 2 players because then I just look at the person and go, you win, but we're going to play anyway. I try to play this game with 3 or 4 people so everyone can have a little competition because I'm not going to be it. But I'm going to have more fun than any of you. Because that little rondelle, for anybody who plays the game, that little rondelle at the bottom, with the letter or the checks and the gaining, where you gain everything every time you go around it, I literally just see how many times I can go around that thing. My entire strategy, so like, you've got different levels of cards that cost different amounts. You know, it's 1 through 7. The 1 card is going around that rondelle, but it's a limited number. When the deck's out, the deck's out. At the end of the game, everyone else will have 1, and I'll have 12. And I'm just going round and round and round that thing. And because I'm buying the cheap cards, everyone's decks are getting built. People are buying the better, more expensive cards. Their decks are like this. My deck's like that, but it has nothing but 1s and 2s in it, and everyone else is flipping, and I'm still over here flipping, going round and round my rondelle like crazy, and I'm having a great time. This game doesn't get enough love. The expansion is great. The fact that it adds modules to the game that you can mix in what you like and how you like it, and you can create your perfect little blend of a game, does not get enough love. I will get this to the table anytime I absolutely can, and honestly, like I said, I played this a ton. If I played it more, it might be higher up my list, because I have never had a bad game with this, ever. I love it. And everyone I've ever showed it to likes it, but no one has ever really loved it the way I do. And I will also say, because there might be someone you already typed in the comments, this game is solvable. Is one of the reasons it's not loved. I will admit, it is a solvable game. So if 2 people at the table have figured out how to solve it, it's going to be like a 1-point game at the end because it's who solved it better or who had more luck, really. But I don't know. I'm not a game solver. I don't like to do that in games. I like to just play. Mm-hmm. And to just play, this one is absolutely fantastic. So, that's my number 9.
One thing you overlooked in all your praise is one of my favorite things is like the board, the components that you build. When you're adding stuff onto your
tavern. Oh, you're right. Yeah,
like adding new tables on, adding a brewer, like you're making your own little tavern. That's that's my fun.
No, you're right. There's so many things I like about this game that you're right. Just flipping over everything, and also I like the setup because like you give everyone their stuff and it's a puzzle. Like you literally hand people puzzle pieces and you go build your puzzle. It's like 8 pieces that you have to figure out where they all go, and I like that. Even setting the game up is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. You learn a lot of the mechanics as you assemble your board. Like I think that's something that's really overlooked in a lot of games, where it's like there's 20 things on this board. You're only going to need 3 of them when you start off, but going piece by piece, like what does it do when I upgrade it? Oh, that's what it does. Click. That's perfect.
It's absolutely fantastic. The expansion, like I said, is good for the modules. I prefer it with the modules because I've played it so much that I want more. Mm-hmm. Anybody who's never played this, it's not that the modules are hard as to why I wouldn't teach it. It's because the base game is so pure that I would just be like, let's play this. And then if they liked it, I'd be like, here's a bunch of other crap we can do. But because like Raiders, I teach it base. I'm always going to go back to Raiders because I think it has such a big gap between expansions and non-expansions. I always teach Raiders base because I think the expansions are too much for a first-time teaching. I don't think the modules in this one are too much for a first-time teaching. I just think the base game is so pure, I would prefer to teach it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've never played it.
What?
As many times as y'all have played it in my presence,
so
I've
good.
Never played it.
It's good.
Quacks is fantastic. It was my number, but it's right there. 19. It was in the top 20. Oh, wow, it's 19, so it's right outside that 18. So, yeah. So, number 19, I love Quacks. If you've not tried Taverns, it is fantastic. Go play this game. I'm the only one you'll hear talk about this game. I can promise you that. I've never seen it on anyone's list ever, and I don't like that because it deserves more love.
See, I think it would probably fall for mine because if it's gameable, I immediately
that's
I
always
lose interest.
That's the reason most people don't like it is because so many gamers are, I don't even know the right word, not try hard, but like they want to win. Mm-hmm. For me, I just want to play. I don't care. Like I try to win, but I just want to play. So I think that's why I like it so much. Is everyone over here trying to figure out their perfect turn, and I'm like, I want to go around the little map.
It is one of those games where I have to consciously go, I am going to pull my punches, and I'm going to have more fun by doing it.
Yeah, right? That's why I think I like it. It's like you don't have to try hard. You just play. You just roll the dice and play. But this is my number 9. It was my number 9 last year, so it stayed right where it was.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right. We are at the number 8.
Number 8. I feel like it's important that you use this particular boxing that since Corey has it.
That's a good looking box.
It's
right
a
there.
beautiful box. Viticulture is, I think you've already brought it up on your list.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe I guess it's not on the list at all. Anywhere at all. Who knows? Viticulture.
I just bought this like very expensive wine crate out of print when I bought it box.
Oh, no.
Because it just looks pretty.
It's
Sure
serialized and everything.
It is. It
almost
sure
close
is.
to
It sure is.
I like this game. I think it's beautiful. Theming is fun. The gameplay is interesting. There is a lot of different ways you can go about playing it. Every time I've played it, I've enjoyed it. I like the refined feel of the game. As I like a lot of times you'll play the game and it's gamey. This one I don't feel like I'm playing a game. I actually genuinely feel like there's a piece of me that's like running a small vineyard. So I really think it's a great game in my opinion. I've never had a bad time playing it.
So, I'm going to say something for the viticulture fans out there that they're all going to get in the comments and yell at you right now. This is Lucas's number 8. He's never played Tuscany. He's never played Tuscany, and this is his number 8. Almost everyone who loves this game says Viticulture base is like a 7-8. Tuscany takes it to a 10 for almost everyone. I have Tuscany. We're going to fix this for you. It's in here. He's not played Tuscany, and it's his number 8. I just want that pointed out. When he plays Tuscany, this could shoot higher.
You know what's going to happen? It's
So
going to go down.
good.
It's going to go down because of Tuscany.
It's so good.
I feel like I'm the counterculture person in this group, so it's not intentional.
Have you played?
So I guess we got a
Okay.
game night.
So, like I said in the video from Christmas, do I fail you guys? Am I a bad friend?
Well, no,
do I fail you?
When I played this last, I don't think you had the expansion. You didn't have this box.
Did I? Oh, okay. I bought it when I got this box.
So I mean, it's been years since I played it in terms of, but I play it on like the app. I like to.
It's a good app.
Yeah, it's a great app. I think it's a fun game. I also think it's complicated enough. To me, it is complicated enough to give like experienced gamers something to do, but you can play it with your like people who've played a few games before.
Yeah.
And
This
so I
is
think
not
that's really
introductory,
cool.
but
No,
it's
no.
but it's intermediate.
Yeah.
It's got meat
Yeah.
and Jesus.
It's got some. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the different. There's a lot of different ways to win this game too. I have won this game without making a single glass of wine before.
Yeah.
You can win this game in a lot of ways, depending on how strategic and how well you do things.
Yep.
And I need someone out there to explain to me why the most optimal play always is to not sell your 7 field. I can't logically make it out. It's what I do every time. And I've played not doing it and doing it. I've played with other people who didn't do it, and I do it, and I destroy them. You don't need 3 fields. You just flat out don't. Period. End of story. So why would you not sell the expensive one first thing, get all your money, and be like, oh, I'm kind of set up for the whole game. Just saying, for anyone who's played, I don't see any logical reason that's not the first thing you do.
I like to hold on to them. I'm a hoarder. I don't know why.
Next time you play, try it.
Okay.
Next time you play, try it. I promise you're going to be like, wow, all that work I did for like the first 3 rounds in previous games, I don't have to do now. I promise you'll be like, wow, this is a hack.
Life hack.
Life hack. Sell your 7 field.
Well, there you go. So, Viticulture, great game. I think it's top notch. It's number 8.
Yeah.
No, 7.
No, 8.
8.
Okay, if anybody's been watching these videos since the first 100, I actually kind of want a counter of how many times I've screwed up what number we're on, and I've had to go, no, yes, maybe. It's been a lot.
You should ask your editor. She's like, oh, I got it.
Yeah, she's like, after the 17th time, I started keeping track. Good pick.
Right, so my number 8 has a bit of a backstory. And I think every one of us has an internal list. That list is, people that if they turn out to be trash humans, please don't tell me. I don't want to know it. Please, my life is better believing they're a good, fun person that I can relate to.
Yes.
Two of those,
I have a list.
like the easy one that everyone can identify with is Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is a bad person. Please don't tell me.
I had this conversation the other day. I straight up did.
Yeah. So two of those people for me are the Penny Arcade guys. I have read their comic since the very first issue. I'm gonna keep reading it until I'm an old man or until they die, whichever comes first.
Older.
Yeah.
I'm the baby in the room. I get to make the jokes.
So, their humor, direct line to my funny bone. They've had me for 20 years now. And one of my favorite games of all time, or my favorite mechanics, is deck building. Love that.
Yeah.
So, Clank, shoe-in, perfect game for me until I got the first Acquisitions Incorporated Clank. This is just like two of my great loves came together and made a baby, and it's even better somehow. This is the second one because I just got it on Kickstarter. I haven't played it yet, but
I was noticing that, and I was like, hold on a second.
Yeah, well, I'm excited.
I will say, I have a tiny backstory to this. Scott brought Clank, the base Clank, to a game night. Oh, God. 4 years ago or something like that, and he walked in with it and he described it to me. At the time, I did not like deck builders at all. I still don't love them; they're not one of my favorites, but I've warmed on a bunch of them to give more of them tries. Right? It's not one of my favorite mechanics, but it's okay. So I'll just be honest. It kind of in my brain was like, yeah, well, I've already planned these games, Scott. Thanks for bringing it. I've already kind of planned we're going to play these over here. So we didn't play it that night, and he didn't bring it around for a while. He brought it here again earlier this year. It was after I made this list. It would have made my top 100. Clank is, and that's base, a great game.
After getting to know Corey better, I realized I buried the lead. I shouldn't call it a deck builder. I should say, this is a giant push your luck game, Corey. You're going to have a great time.
Yeah, I didn't even make it to the part where they dragged my lifeless body out. I died in the pits. The funniest part, the deepest part you could be in. Literally, I couldn't have been further down, and I just died in the hole.
Well, the reason this game...
If I'd have got out, though. If I'd have got out, though, they would have been screwed if I'd have got out, though.
Well, the reason I like this game over either of the three regular base Clank games, it's actually a legacy game that fulfills the promise of a legacy game. Because to me, a legacy game is, you like the normal game, here's a story to go with it. And most of the legacy games fail at that.
Yep.
Miserably.
So many of them forget the story and just go, here's more mechanics.
Exactly. Like, most of them, it's like a mechanic with like a paper mask that says story across the forehead. And you're like, this isn't a story. You just added a new mechanic.
Yep.
It's fun. The components are neat. It's a surprise. That was fun. But I want some more meat and potatoes.
I'll give you a perfect example. Me and Lauren are currently playing through Ticket to Ride Legacy. And I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I don't want to like bash it. I'm having a good time. But it's one of those where the story's pasted on, but here's a bunch of mechanics. The mechanics are good, and I'm enjoying it. But the story's pasted on. Like, you have to really work to make the story work. Not the story's drawing me in.
Yeah. This is the first legacy game I ever played. Granted, I haven't played a lot of them, but I played a few. The first one where I enjoyed the story all the way through. The story definitely added something, and it really has the choose your own adventure book kind of feel, where like I make a choice at the end of a round, and it actually impacts what happens down the road. And like I can see, because I'm a dirty cheater, where I'll look at what was the consequences of my other choice. Like, oh, that's actually different. So you're not like most legacy games give you the offer like, oh, every game is different. They're not really.
Yep.
Like you basically like, oh, we also had that reveal. We just did it a round later. Whoopie-doo. This one, you can actually end up with a drastically different game from someone else.
Right, but I also know, I haven't played this one, but I know enough about it that it's also not one of those insanely depthful ones that are like a giant hole you're diving into. Perfect example, we've both talked about Sleeping Gods is one. But another one I have down here, actually, King's Dilemma. Like, there's so many games that have so much going on in it that it turns into almost an RPG than a game. This one still remains a game.
Absolutely. It plays in a little bit longer time frame than the regular Clank, but not much.
Yeah, because that's something that some people definitely have a disconnect with, is like, you'll be like, here's a legacy game we're going to play, it's got all this story, it's super cool, but you kind of don't even feel like you're playing a board game anymore, you're more playing an RPG.
Exactly.
Yeah, but, so.
That's why. My number.
Clank, the first one, obviously, because this second one just came out, the first one has been on my list to play for a while, because, well, for a while since I played the first one with you. When you introduced me to the base, I was like, I would love to play the Legacy version of this because maybe me dying deep down in the deep dark holes would have story elements to it.
I'm down. You want to play the second with me? I really cracked the box, looked at the components, and went.
I'm down. Scott, there's something that I feel like at this point in our friendship you should know about me. You just have to start the sentence with "Want to play a game?" Corey's there. I'll bring the beer and pizza. I'm there. Actually, you know what? You can come to me. I have the table. Come on.
I'm an introvert.
All right, my number 8. Yep. All right, so my number 8, we played for the first time earlier this year. At the beginning of the year, I think we played in like February or something. And the moment we were done, me and Lucas talked about it, and he was like, this is going to be in your top 10, isn't it? First time we played it, and I was like, yeah. The question was, how high in my top 10 would it be? I've never played this game. Never once played this game. I have always ran this game. And I have so much fun doing it. Ready, set, bet.
Yes.
I never want to play this game. Someone offers to run this game, I'll tell you no. I'll be like, sit down, you're going to play this game. I will run it. And you'll have a great time. And by the end of the first race, Corey will lose his voice. And for the second and third race, I will be cracking my voice. I love setting up the TV or speaker or whatever, getting the horse track sounds. I love naming all the horses and coming up with stupid jokes and stories to them. I love just the ability to get into character for me to run this game, and specifically from my seat, like watching everyone else have a great time. Like literally kind of standing at the roulette table and watching everyone quickly putting their chips down, especially because you have to get yours in before everyone else on this game. I will literally see Scott reaching over Lucas as Lucas is trying to slide his hand underneath Carson's, as Carson is trying to lay 2 at the same time. Like, I love seeing, just looking at the board, watching what people are doing, and then the thematic that comes behind it of me, talking about the way that the horses are stuck in the stalls if they've not moved, versus going to the windows and placing your bets, just all the different ways you can take this game. This is a game, and this isn't me tooting my own horn, it's just honest opinion. This is a game you will have more fun the better the person running it is.
100%.
100%.
Yeah. Like, the better the person is, your fun, it's a bar. It will go up and down. If you sit down and play this with just, and 3 moves, and 4 moves, and 7 moves, there's some skill and there's some fun to it. You might have an okay time, but the better person running it, you'll have a great time.
I will tell you this straight up. Without Corey factor, and I'll say if you don't have someone who can run this game and make it guess, and it will come up again. If you don't have someone who can run this game and make it an experience, I'll tell you where this game is going to show up in my list coming up. This would be off my list. I would give it a 2. Mechanics wise, boring. Wouldn't play it. Like the pieces are fine, everything else is fine. Wouldn't want to touch it. The experience of playing this game, put it in my top 10.
It speaks volumes that they have a mechanic for whoever's running it. You can also play the game, but it's only incentive to actually get someone to run the game because they knew they needed someone to run the game who has an incentive to run the game.
Oh, see, the hilarious part to me is every time we play, I don't want to do that, but everyone makes me. Yeah. Everyone's like, no, Corey, we want you to play. I'm like, I am playing. You don't get it. To me, this is playing.
Of all the people I know, you're the only one who sports bets on the regular, and it speaks volumes that you're like, I could be sports betting right now, but I don't care.
Right. Like, in an alternate universe, Corey doesn't have his day-to-day job. I don't try and do YouTube and stuff. Something like a sports announcer, a racetrack person, like something like that, that's like my dream role, is to just get to yell into a microphone all day. That sounds incredible. Is that not describe Corey to a nutshell? Just give me a microphone, let me scream. I win.
Yep.
Number 8, race that bet. After that first time we played, I'll never forget, because we were at a board game cafe. It was me, you, Lauren, and Trinity. No, it was Carson. Me, Carson, you, and Trinity. I remember I told you what my early guess was going to be as to where it would land in my top 10. My guess was 4. It landed at 8, but it still debuted at number 8. That's a huge deal, considering when you see what my number 7 are. Some of these have been around for me since day one. So, like, for it to come up this high is huge. So, this is also the last new game in my top 10 because there was 2 new ones, Nidavellir and this one. The next 7 have been around.
I'll also point this out. When we played at that cafe, we had a group of people watching us.
Yep.
Like, it became a viewing experience for everyone.
Yep. That literally, like, every table around us, because, again, my volume and my loudness, people were kind of forced to watch us, but then people were watching us because they wanted to.
Yeah, it wasn't even like they were annoyed. No one was annoyed. They were getting into it with us.
Oh, yeah, my volume caught their attention.
Yes.
But then once they saw what was going on, they're like, what's happening over there? So, just saying, I also have a goal, dream, whatever, you've talked about this, of running Ready, Set, Bet tournaments and having multiple tables going at the same time, and then the winner of each table coming together for a final table. I have dreams of doing that.
Don't do that at the same time. Don't do it.
No, I'm going to do it. And have like a big board with like a camera set up on a monitor so people can see my board while they're all playing on their boards. Have dealers running each table, setting it up. Oh, I'm telling you, I have a dream.
Dealers with like little bow ties.
Yeah. Don't get my imagination going. Number 8, Ready, Set, Bet. I have the very big, nice one coming next month, too.
Yep.
Very excited about that. Number 7.
I feel like I need to...
It's not that big.
I need a
It's not that
weightlifting.
big.
I need a belt.
I got Everdale down for him.
And I got it back up to the table.
Number 7. I'm not going to lean it. Wingspan is mine. This is everything.
Also.
Yeah. Another beautiful box. I will say that for me, I actually was talking to my dad about this at Christmas. This is a game I want him to play with me. It is a game that I think can be an introductory game if you have someone who understands gaming to some extent. And I think that this is the theme. My father will love the theming of this game. The being able to integrate the biological truths of like these different birds and how like their wingspans is an important part of it. What they eat, where they live, how they interact with things. I think it's awesome. It is beautifully done in a way that is educational by accident and fun on purpose. And I think that there's not a single piece of it that's not gorgeous. The upgraded components make it even better, but your base game is beautiful.
Yep.
I don't think there's any time. I've never had a bad time playing this game. I have it also. If this is one of the things I go to if I've had a bad day or I'm stressed, I pull up the app for Wingspan and play on my computer and just listen to bird tones. In fact, I have the Spotify playlist of the music for this game pulled up as a thing to listen to when I just need to de-stress. When I want a game to play and de-stress, I go to Wingspan. This is an awesome game, and I think every expansion, in my opinion, has only made it better. I haven't played any of the
You haven't played Asia.
ones. Yeah,
You played Oceania. You haven't played Asia.
correct.
Yeah. So Europe came out, and then Oceania and Asia just came out this past year. And I actually got an email from Stonemeyer's newsletter like 2 weeks ago saying the next one is coming soon. Which, in my opinion, is coding for look out at Gen Con. Because the actual announcement's not come yet, which usually comes like 3 months before the actual happens. So I'm looking at Gen Con. But yeah.
And if that's the case, I may pick it up as well. I mean, I'm genuinely, it's wonderful.
The thing with Wingspan I'll never forget in my gaming career is when this game first came out and I watched all the other reviewers and things like that. And it's like every single person on the internet was trying to convince you of something, because this game, in my opinion, really started the nature craze. Because nature has gone crazy in the past few years over theme. This game came out and every single person was like, I know it's about birds, but hear me out. And then like the game was incredible and it took the world by storm, and then now all of a sudden every third game that comes out is a nature themed game. And I think this game is almost entirely to thank for it. And Elizabeth Hargrave is now a household name in gaming, and she'll never look back. She's came out with some great titles since. I have multiple of them in this room. She is a fantastic designer, and I've never seen a springboard like this game for any other designer. Like, there have been people who come in, like we talked about with Gloomhaven, and everybody's like, oh my god, this was your first real thing, blah, 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 right? This wasn't her first game. She had a couple of decent little smaller games first, but then this one, she took a jump off of that diving board, and she went straight into the deep end, and her name will never die in gaming.
And I'll say 2 things, just as that. One is not to throw any shit, but I've looked at like Wormspan, doesn't have the same magic to me as this does looking at it. Don't know if it plays the same. I haven't got to play it yet. It's on my list.
It's different.
Yeah, I feel like this one has a special magic. I will say, Undergrove was excellent. And it did
Was
not
it
make my
hard hits?
list. I didn't get to play it till after I made my list. It'll probably be on there next year. So,
All right.
there's something.
My goal next year is to have these two expand their lists.
The reason I'm saying nothing is because we're not putting that box away.
Woo! At 7?
No.
Oh. I thought we were going to have a perfect matchup number.
No, not quite. I'll wait.
Okay.
So, as I've
You
realized,
want to get me Eversell?
so throughout this process, I've realized something about myself that I'm very much a theme guy. I would have never guessed that before putting him in the list, but theme is a lot more important than I thought it was. And if there's any game
Would you
that's
guess Scott was a theme guy? I think that would have been the number one thing I would have pegged Scott for.
I didn't know that about myself. I learned it, okay? Introspection is a thing. If there's any game that is fighting an uphill battle against its theme more, I don't know what it is.
Oh.
Other than Watergate.
Yep.
To explain this game to someone is bananas.
Yep.
It's a light, fun, two-player game where you're enacting the Watergate scandal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You know, Richard Nixon breaking into the Watergate Hotel to steal... Oh, God, it's a very heavy theme for a very light, very fun game that you can play with basically anyone. So, for that reason alone, my mind was blown out the back of my head, like, Watergate. Because I remember you brought it to the table and I was like, your wife loved this game, you say. Tell me more.
I'll say this, even with you, I have never played this with someone once. We have always played it at least twice that night. We have played it back to back every single time I've ever played this game. And I have taught probably 10 or 12 people how to play this game, and all 10 or 12 people have immediately said, let's go again. Because it's fast, it's short, it plays so simply, and it is, no one thinks about this until I say it typically. It is a card game with a board.
Yes.
It is a card game with a board. 90% of what you're doing is the card game. The board looks pretty, and you put some stuff on it. It's there to keep track of what your cards do.
I would love to be a fly on the wall where the conversation came up for the theme for this game.
Right.
Like, of all the themes, why this one for these mechanics? It boggles the mind because it's super fun, it's super light, and I honestly think they made the right call. I don't know how or why, but like if you stapled on some stupid nature theme that didn't fit or some explorer theme, like all of those would have just fell through the cracks. But the fact that it's Watergate, you're like, well, it works.
And the aesthetic they went with for the components is awesome. The newspaper clippings and stuff for the cards. You've got the string card, the string push pin board for the board. The track for the little miniature guys. Like the aesthetic is beautiful.
Do they manage to make dry political humor sing? I don't know how they did it, but they did.
And as like I said, I trick out almost every game in this room. I have the the upgraded components, and I don't think you've seen them, but they're pretty good. Just saying.
Okay.
I would love to see more games like this. Give me more political games. I have a very specific
Don't worry,
group
remember that
of friends.
Kickstarter I showed you about a month ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming.
Oh.
Don't worry, it's coming.
I have a very specific group of friends who would love these games.
All right, we'll play Twilight Struggle tomorrow.
Twilight Struggle, let's go. It's my number 50. I remember because last time I brought it up, you brought it up. Hey, that's a 3-way crossover.
Yep.
Is that our first one? That's our first 3-way crossover so far.
Really?
Yeah.
I think so.
We've had
That's
crossovers.
an ironic one to be.
Yeah.
I know, right?
First 3-way crossover. We got one. All right. Yeah, my number 50, I think it was in your 11 to 20. Oh, yeah, you got the list.
I can tell you for sure.
And Scott likes it the most, apparently.
I mean,
16.
16, so 50, 16, and 7. It's pretty good. I mean, for me, like I said, for me to make this big, expansive list, for it to be in all 3 of our top 50s, I mean, that should say something.
Pretty impressive.
That should say something. None of you are going to believe me. No one's going to believe me. They're all going to say I'm full of crap. I swear with every piece of me that this is my number 7. I didn't just put it at 7. When I made my list, it fell at 7. I promise it did. Because it is 7 Wonders Duel. I swear it fell at 7. I didn't just put it there. 7 Wonders is a fantastic game. It's in my top 30. It's my number 26. 7 Wonders is a great game. 7 Wonders Duel, it actually fell 2 spots. It was number 5 last year. And that's because a couple of games have jumped it. This game is just take what 7 Wonders does and make it better. And it's not just that it's 2 players, it's everything about it just makes it better. Making the waterfall pyramid of cards that reveal each other as you take them. They cleaned up the, in my opinion, both the science and the warfare mechanics and made them even better. The warfare tug of war in this one, compared to just collecting the combat cards or whatever you want to call them, military cards is what I'm looking for, just to compare numbers in the base game with your neighbors. This one having that tug of war that you have to like maintain while looking at the other stuff, I think makes it even better. However, Christmas just happened. This game, I think, will not be in my top 100 next year because I think it is going to be directly replaced by Duel for Middle-earth. It is made by the same people. I have heard, I've not played yet, that they are incredibly similar. If I love this one as much as I do, and it's as wonderfully and beautifully made as it is, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. I cannot wait to play this game. This was top of my Christmas list this year, and it might have been one of the first 2 gifts I opened because everyone knew that I wanted this game, and I'm excited for it. 7 Wonders Duel is beautiful. Just want to preface it with next year you might see this one. I have a high probability chance of that happening. But 7 Wonders Duel is the ideal way to play 7 Wonders, but 7 Wonders is also fantastic because it's my number 26.
I think it's definitely the top of the heap of all the adaptation duel games where they converted games down to 2 players. That one's top of the heap.
Oh yeah. So I'll say this. I have a lot of 2-player games in my list. This is my top 2-player game. So my top 6 are not 2-player games. So this is my favorite 2-player game. It, like you said, top of the heap for sure in my opinion. It's also was one of the first. So once again, we've got one of those situations where the people who did it first did it best. Right? So like we had Wingspan, we've got 7 Wonders Duel. All the people that typically did it first did it best. And even though I'm not a fan of it, so many people bring up Dominion. The people that did it first, they did it for a reason. They knew what they was doing, right? And everybody else just has to play off of them. So, 7 Wonders Duel. Wonderful. It's my number 7, I swear. I didn't just put it here.
Don't believe him.
Your quote from the last video of, I'm going to help, but I'm not going to match your energy, was going to be funny.
Everybody, let's go. Everybody got a job. Let's go.
I will help you, but I refuse to match your energy.
Literally, it's the most liked comment. I posted that and everyone's liked it. Yep. It's that last video's done really good. We'll actually plug it here real quick because we're talking about it. We actually had a Christmas Day video where we replaced this man's entire game collection that he lost, and it went fantastically. So if you watched that and supported it, I want to say thank you to everyone that watched, commented, liked, all that stuff. But yeah, so just go check it out. It was a very wholesome, very awesome video that every single person in the community has been so incredibly kind about. Both the people who have commented on the video, and then I may post on like BGG and Facebook and Reddit and stuff like that. The comments on those have also been just awesome. Just straight love from people. So I haven't even shared some of those with you yet, but it's literally just an outpouring of love from people, and I absolutely love it.
I've watched it 3 times with 3 different groups of people, and I've cried 3 times. So I've learned that I can't watch it. Otherwise I'll cry. I won't cry this time.
No. So some of his games still have the queer wrapping on them because he's not opened them yet because he just got them.
Including my number 6. Great segue. Which is River Valley Glassworks, which I just got at Gen Con and was one of the ones I genuinely was upset about losing in the flood.
And me and Scott were genuinely upset when you bought it at Gen Con because only one of us needs to buy it, and me and him both wanted to buy it.
It's gorgeous. It's so beautiful and wonderful, and I enjoy it. Trinity loves it. I've played it with a couple different people. It's fun. It's simple. The game is interesting. There are risk mechanics to it. Even one of my friends who doesn't really enjoy board games that much enjoyed this game. So I think it's awesome. I will strongly suggest getting the mat. I think the game board's fine, but the gaming mat is just, it just makes it better. And
All Matt's made games better, I would argue.
That's
Not false.
I'm a glutton, Scott.
I know you are.
yes. I will say that, and this is something I will say to save you some money. The upgraded stones to me were not that much better, but they're fine. They were worth me paying what I got because I got them as a bundle when I got it. But they weren't as good as I think the original ones are just fine too. So you can save some money there. But I do think that the other components, the expansion was fine too. I don't think it feels it adds something, but it doesn't add an immense amount. So it's one of those things like if you want to spend it, you can. The base game for this is incredible. It's something you can bring out with probably anyone you know. I would even argue this is a game you could bring up someone who's never played a game before. They will love it. They'll have a great time. It's a lot of fun.
At Gen Con, the people dressed up as the characters walking around were super cute, and like, I'm not gonna lie, so Luke is very picky about the games he gets, especially like when we go Gen Con, 'cause like he wants to conserve his, money he brought to spend for things, so he wants to get the right things. You brought up like the first 2 days that this was like on your list that you might get. I am not gonna lie to you, I sat there for 2 days, I walked past it multiple times, and I was like, I wonder if he's going to get it. You think, is he really going to get it? Because I was like, I really want to get it. But there's really no point in the three of us, like, buying the same games. So, like, I was like, if he don't get it, I'm definitely getting it.
The world needs more otters and bowler hats.
1000%. Oh, and the names. Have you seen the names of their, like, companies? No. Oh, it's the best.
That's one of the things I love about Flamecraft is the names of the companies.
Oh,
It follows that same little theme.
Mm-hmm.
No, 100%. And I think that this is a game you will never not have a good time playing.
Yeah. I'm very upset. I've not played it.
Yeah, you have.
No!
Yeah, we played
Nope.
it. We played it at Gen Con.
You and Trinity played at Gen Con. You and Trinity did. Me and Scott walked up later when you guys were finishing. Only you and Trin played at Gen Con.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Because me and Scott walked up, and we were like, glad we were asked.
Hey, y'all were doing something. Don't even.
They had that board game table, and in the entrance with the game set up, we're like, that looks really fun. We passed it every single day.
single
Like,
day.
that looks really fun.
We
One of
played,
us is getting that, right? Yeah, one of us is getting that.
we played it in the floor. We literally played it in the floor waiting on something. I don't even remember.
You're waiting on us.
Okay.
We were in an event, and you and Trin just buzzing it out.
It was great. I had a great time. We played it more since then.
Not with me. I want to play it so bad. That game.
It's so good.
So good. I've gotten very good over the years at just knowing what I'm going to like just by looking at it. Like, I don't have to dive deep into the Kickstarter or deep into the description. Usually I just look at it on the table or like the pictures or whatever, and I can almost immediately tell you if I'm going to like it. And this one was one of the fastest yeses ever.
Mm-hmm. Well, mine's going to be pretty short, sweet, to the point, because we talked about its sister game on your list. Sisters. But my number 6 is Blood Rage. And I do rank it above Honk, and specifically for, I think, some of the same reasons I called out the other video. Everyone has the same story with this game. Everyone thinks they're playing a war game.
Oh.
We're fighting Vikings. We're going to kill each other. Whoever does the most killing wins. And then a Loki player shows up at the table and says, "Lol." Everyone has, and the theme is so perfect. Like, how many people are you sending to Valhalla? That's your points. And all the side strategies with boats. Like, it's so good. It's so good.
Blood Rage was my somewhere number 24. Super high for me. Absolutely love it. I do like Honk better. I like the theme better. I like the Egyptian compared to the Norse. I know that's actually rare. Most people prefer Norse on everything. I actually have probably 7 Norse games probably in my top 25. I have so many. But Blood Rage is absolutely fantastic. And I said this with Wingspan. I've said this I think 2 other times on the list-ish. There are certain games that there are designers who are out there who people know their names. They've been involved in games. They're like, oh, he's good. He does this. He does that. And I said this with Elizabeth Hargrave. Eric Lang is now a legend in gaming because of this series. Specifically Blood Rage. It started it, and it is by far the most loved of the 3. Mm-hmm. But the series as a whole, Eric Lang has put himself into a pantheon with other designers that he will never come down from. And this game is the primary reason. And well-deserved. Absolutely well-deserved.
Did you see what it did there? Pantheon.
Yeah.
I hate you.
And I have to mention the minis. Cool meter or not, keep up the good work.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
So good. Blood Rage is top tier. Like I said, it honestly makes me wonder because, you know how, some things it's I would really like this thing, but then you find out there's so many other things, you're like, oh, I like all of these things, right? Blood Rage is one of those, if Ankh and Rising Sun didn't exist, I wonder how much more I would like Blood Rage because I don't have these other options, right? You know what I mean? It's like once you get more of something, you can start comparing and whatever. But if it's all you have, you're like, oh, you know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of what happened with Blood Rage when it first came out too, because there was no other comparison. It was just, here you go. And like everyone fell in love with it. And the expansions are really good. The gods of Asgard one, 4 is awesome in that game. 5th player expansion works well, and the Mystics changed the game entirely. The Mystics actually might be the best part about the expansions. It changes everything. And also, it has incredible miniatures. That ain't a mini game. That's a drafting game. That's a straight up drafting game.
Yes.
It's similar to Watergate, where we say it's a card game with a board. That is a drafting game that looks so good.
With minis that you don't actually need, but God, they're pretty.
Yeah, that is a 75% drafting game. After the draft, you are just watching it all work. Basically.
Yellow needs to take notes.
Yeah.
Give us more minis.
Give us minis. Yeah. Please.
You're not wrong.
You know what? Yellow, call cool mini or not. Shake hands. Make a little agreement. You give some kickback here. You give some kickback here.
Could you imagine?
Why do they hate money? Why? We will pay! I don't love King of Tokyo that much. It's like in my 80-ish range. I really like it. I will pay. My number 6. My number 6 is, at this point, next year it'll be 20 years old. It came out in 2005. It is getting lost to the ages, I feel like, and that makes me so sad, because when it came out, and even for like the next decade after it came out, it was beloved. Everyone had it on their list for everything. Everyone talked about it, but just over the years, it's just getting pushed further and further back for people. Not for me. It's my number 6. This one falls into that category for me. If I don't play it minimum once a year, I'm sad. I'm like, I am just straight up sad if I did not play this year. I played it 3 times this year, and I've had a great time with it. Shadows over Camelot is beautiful. And I found something out today that, like, I was describing to you before we started recording. The more I looked at my list and the more I was kind of looking at my collection today because I was updating my BGG, I started putting some dots together. And what I realized is, one, Bruno Catala might be my favorite designer because I started looking at my list and I just kept going, or just like my whole top 100, I was like, yep, that's him. Yep, that's him. Yep, that's him. I'm like, okay then, there we go. Here in the top 10, this game is even more special specifically. This one was co-designed by Bruno Catala and Sergei, I think it's Leggett, it might be Laguet, I don't know, I apologize. But Bruno Catala designed this game and Seven Wonders Duel. Sergei Leggett designed this game and Nidavellir. So in my top 10, these two came together to make this perfect stew, and this is before they were big. Like, this was one of the first games they came out with, because like I said, it's 20 years old next year. It's beautiful. One of my favorite movies of all time is Monty Python's Holy Grail. The number of quotes you can have while playing this game, if you play this game with someone who also loves that movie, you'll have a great time. It's so fantastic. But the mechanics of this game, it is one of the few hidden trader games that just work. There's so many trader games that, like, honestly, so many people are dreading getting. They're like, I don't want to be the guy. But then, for me, I always want to be the guy. But so many people are just like, I don't want to be the guy. Not this game. If you're the guy in this one, the entire idea of this one is, how do I screw you up? And I love it. You literally just go to the well and start chucking all the good stuff down the well. You look at somebody with a handful of Grail cards and go, wait, there's Grail cards? Wait, what do they look like? You got a handful of them. And then, the secret communication. So many people, they hate it. Like, you can't talk about the numbers in your hand. So many people hate it. I don't in this one. I love it in this one because there's some, like, the mind and the game and stuff where you got to kind of do the little bit of the dance, right? But it's not like a fun dance. And this one, I love it. It's like, can you get this party started? No, but I can bring the chips and dip. No, yo, I'm the closer of this party. Like, I love the communication in this one. And the number of times I played the trader and won, oh, it feels so good. Especially when you, like, no one knows it's you, and you just hit them with that trap card right at the end. When we were at the retreat our first year, I won it that way, and I was so happy. I love this game so much. And a company that used to get tons of love for their art, but I feel like is getting less and less over the years, which isn't fair. Days of Wonder, you keep doing you, boo-boo. Like, oh my God, I love it so much. There are, like, I bet I have 10 or 12 Days of Wonder games in here, and they are probably the top 10 or 12 art in this room. They are absolutely incredible. I love their boxes. I love their art. It's awesome. Shadows over Camelot. Don't lose it to the ages. Keep it alive. It's out of print. If I lose this one, I don't know what I'm going to do. I want Merlin's Company. It's very expensive for him. It's very expensive, but I want it so bad. Shadows. Another overlooked game, even though it was loved for a while. This one falls in that category of taverns for me. That's like, I don't care how old it gets, I will continue to champion it down the road. Number 5. Segue.
This one's going to take me no time at all.
That's a pretty good game.
That's a great game. Ready, Set, Bet. Like I said, it's number 5 for me. It's only because of the experience. Once again, I will say I think the game is incredibly basic outside of that, but I'm also a big proponent of making games fun by getting into them extra. That's the same thing we talked about with like Elder Sign or any of those games that talk about having like a Corey factor. If you don't have someone who will get into the game with you, the game loses something to it. I actually would say that we've done that successfully with a number of games. Games that you wouldn't even have to do it.
Yep.
I think it makes them more fun. Even
our group is really good at just making games better.
Yeah.
Just flat out just being like, this game's pretty good. Let's make it better.
Well, we like to interject personality into games, and I think that sometimes you just can't. You can't make that a mechanic. But in a game like this, because I'll be honest with you, when Corey brought this out,
I remember your face.
I was like, okay, well, we'll play it and I'll see what happens. I laughed till I hurt the next day. I was physically in pain because it was so fun.
Yep.
And when the people started to like come around us, I was like, guys, people are starting to watch us. And then I realized they weren't upset. They were legitimately interested in what was going on. And if I remember correctly, someone was like, what are you all playing?
Yep.
Because I want it.
Yep.
Before we left. So Ready, Set, Bet has that. I think the Kickstarter that is now, I guess it's ended, but it's going
to I literally should get it in the next 2-3 weeks.
It makes the components for that look really nice.
Yep.
Honestly,
everything's bigger, which is needed. God, so needed. That's the one complaint I had about this game was everything was too small. I wanted it so much bigger. The board needed to be bigger. The horses needed to be bigger. Everything just needed to be bigger. And in the new upgraded edition that I'm getting, everything's bigger. It's a mat, not a board, which obviously isn't needed, but I love it. It's poker chips, not cardboard pieces, so that's going to improve it so much. Just feel in your hands when you're playing it. The horses are like 3 times the size. So before you had the little board that was like the size of this paper in front of you, and the guy running it's moving it, and you guys can see it, but it's like, I can kind of see it. This one, you stand the horses up, and you can literally see who's in the lead like you're watching the race. So good. I plan on upgrading mine even more, though, with a personal touch. I'm going to put little dry erase pieces at the bottom so you can write the names of the horses on them.
I love it. I also think you need a costume as the announcer.
But look like that?
Yep.
I'm down.
All I'm saying is this game gets better the more you... And I actually would say that upgrading this game to the first place, it will make it only better for you in the long run. It is awesome, and I can't speak its praises anymore.
The biggest tip we can give anyone: name your horses.
Oh, 1,000%.
Every game,
and give them fun, goofy names.
Yep,
because you will enjoy it.
Yep, name your horses. It takes it to that alone, even without like a great announcer, already just makes the game better.
Yes,
Yep.
It gives you a story to them. They're not just a number.
So good. In any universe, after we played this the first time, second time, third time, however many times, is there any universe you would have thought this would have been higher for you than me? I wouldn't have. Like, I knew you would like it, but, like, this game oozes Corey.
Yes. Yes, but I also say that I think part of it is that, so when I think about a game, because I said it earlier as a joke, I am an introvert. I don't have a lot of spoons. I'm the least likely to come to a gaming thing, and it's not because I don't want to be there. It's a lot for me to go out and do things. when I sit down to game, I want to have an excellent experience. I want to enjoy every moment there because I don't have a lot of the energy to be able to pull to do a lot of things. That game, every second, I'm enjoying it. Yep. There are lulls, but it's enough for me to recharge to get ready for the next exciting piece. And it's like, that to me is so much fun. And that is why I think it's higher for me, is that you're having a great time doing the announcing.
So much fun.
But for me, it is a guaranteed great experience every time. There's no question.
Yep. And I'll say, as someone, like I said, who always runs the game, is the announcer, even for me, who is a extreme extrovert, does the YouTube, wants to talk to a million people at Gen Con, wants to be in front of the camera at all times, even in front of my best friends, it's nerve-wracking for me to have to do it, like to feel like you have to constantly be funny, you have to constantly have the energy, you have to do the stuff. Even for me, it's a little nerve-wracking. But the moment I start, you ain't stopping me. Like, I gotta get going, but the moment I start, I am having so much fun that I can't look back.
I'll also say this is a final thing. We were talking about it earlier with taverns. I'm a gamer. When I play games, I want to win. I don't care about winning.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't care. I don't place my bets first. I'm very rarely one of the people who tries to win. I think I've won every game we played, or pretty come close to it. I don't care. I don't do it intentionally. I just do it for the memes.
Yeah, he'll literally just be sitting there with all of his things. We'll get to the red line, the third one's about to cross, and he'll just go, and he'll end up being right.
Yes, and I pick dumb things. I don't bet on anything that makes sense usually. I'm just going, okay, what would be funny in this instance? That's funny. That's worth a lot of points. Let's see what happens there. And that's how I enjoy playing it.
So because they force me to play when I'm doing the announcing, I literally just pick the two horses that have the least likelihood of winning and bet all my money on them, because then if I'm going to win, it is going to be in the most unlikely, dumb way possible, and that right there itself is a story.
Yes.
And because of that, I come in last. Every time. Good pick. I like it. Genuinely, back when we first played it, we'd never guessed it'd be higher for you than me. Just because of how much it's scratched me.
My number 5, you set me up perfectly, because what happens when you cross Blood Rage with River Valley? You get Root!
Let's go!
And I love Root because it's an area control war game that you can play with people who hate area control war games.
So cute, dude!
It's very cute.
So cute!
It's very cute and incredibly well balanced.
Yes!
They knew what they were doing in limiting the factions based on the number of players. They did a very, very good job of this game. And if it had a more serious theme, I think it would still probably be high on my list.
Yeah.
Not as high as it is.
Same for me. The theme with the cute critters like shoves it up for me because it's my number 12. Just barely missed the top 10. I actually backed the Kickstarter, and in about 9 months, I will own everything this game's ever made, and we will be playing many of the expansions to this game. And I think that might put it into the top 10 once I start playing new factions, new characters, new everything, because I have played so much of this game that, like, I'm not bored with it. I still want to play, but because I played it so much, I'm at that point that's like, I need more. Give me more.
I honestly haven't played many of the expansions because I like the base game so much. Like, it's a well-tuned machine. It works the way it's supposed to.
Well, my favorite faction to play is the Vagabond, and my favorite part about some of the expansions is they give you more Vagabonds. And I'm like, yes! Give me more. Even though the War Raccoon's still the best one. The base one, to me, is still my favorite Vagabond, is the original Thief. He's still my favorite. Yeah. Very much appreciate this game. We played it probably 4 times at the retreat.
Yep.
We played
added another player each time.
Every time.
What do you guys play?
And the final one was the best one, too, because 2 people combined at the end to win. Oh, that was so good. Because, like, we didn't think there was any possible way, but they did it, and I was very happy. And it was Carson, too, which just made it that much even better.
Yep.
It was Carson and Tyler.
Yep.
Yeah, it was so good. And, like, weren't you, like, so far in the lead, but Scott was one big play from beating you, and then all of a sudden Carson and Tyler just go, surprise!
Yes.
No, it's not just that Scott was one big play from beating me. He did one thing that destroyed. It took my tower of cards, and they all collapsed. And I went, "Oh, I have no points now." Hold on.
Carson and Tyler honked their horn as they drove past you.
In their clown car.
Oh, so good. All right, my number 5. It has dropped 2 spots from last year. Last year, it debuted at number 3. That was a huge debut. It's dropped to 5, but that is only because 2 games jumped it, that have reasons that they came back to where they are, if that makes sense. But my number 5 is Furnace. Furnace is one of the most clear, pure engine builders I have ever played. And engine building is a hard thing to make interesting because as so many of them can be so dry. This is going to sound so weird. This one's dry in the sense because it's so clear. Like so many engine builders are like, do this thing, you do this thing, and you do that thing, but and here's why you're doing those things. This one is 1 + 1 = 2. It's so easy to understand what you're doing. You are getting the thing to do the thing. That's it. There's no complications to it. You are trying to achieve a goal. You're getting this to do that, and you're getting this to do that, and that allows you to score points. Period. You do that 4 times, and the game's over. The theme is beautiful with it because it's simple. If this game had some super in-depth, oh my god theme, I don't think I would like it the way I do. You are just building your industry, you've got your engine going, and it feels like you're building your business. You are collecting cards to do the things to build your business, and it feels like you are an industrialist who is doing things. So with such a dry theme, it's thematic, if that makes sense. It's beautiful. It's this game, for someone like me who, we joke about this all the time, I am a group solo gamer. I like to play competitive group games where I get to do my own little thing over here in my own little world, and then when the game's over, I look up and go, so how'd you guys do? That's my favorite way to play. And this one has a nice mixture of interaction with the auctioning for the cards, which I think is also done beautifully. But then the moment the auction's over, we all go, give me my stuff. I'm going to do all this over here. And I love that. And then you look up and go, how'd everyone else do? And I love it. This game has also gone well with everyone I've ever played with. I've never had a bad game. I've never had a singular person not being engaged. I've never had a single person not say that they would play it again.
And I've played this game with people who I would have not thought would have enjoyed it too.
Yep. And the expansion makes the coal more interesting because the most boring part of the game is the coal because it's like your base level resource, so it doesn't really do anything, and the way you get it and the way you use it kind of doesn't, it's just kind of there. The expansion makes the coal better. It's modular as well. There's more modules you can put into the game that just make it even better and easier and takes those lull parts of the game and makes them more interesting. This is a beautiful game. I told these guys right before we were recording, my most anticipated game of 2025, I'll go ahead and give it to you right now, is Furnace Duel. I found out about it today, and I'm over the moon about it. So excited. Yeah. I like it.
I can't remember, was it on my list? Because I feel like it should have been if it wasn't.
I want to say I remember seeing...
Yes, it was. Number 21.
Oh, was it 21? Yes. Oh, I thought it was lower. 21.
As it should have been.
You play Furnace, right?
Nope.
I am a bad friend. I have to be. I have to be a bad friend. I have to be. I'm sorry. I'll be better.
I was going to buy it, but the only reason I have it is because I know you own it.
I have the upgrades too, because of course I do.
Put a pin in that.
I love it. I'm just saying. I promise to be better to you, Scott. I failed you, and I promise to be better.
We have time, Corey. We have time.
We have time. Number 4.
Number 4. So number 4 has a fun story behind it. I happened to go to Barnes & Noble one day, and...
That's your number 4?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Hold on, you're gaslighting me. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Proceed.
I went to Barnes & Noble one day, and I was walking
Isn't it
around.
funny? All you have to say is that, and I knew the story.
As you should. And I went over to the sales section, and I just like to look at things that were on sale. And there was a game there. This happened twice with me. The other game I haven't got to play yet. That was Viking Chess. We'll get to that one day. But this day I went over and saw this game. And to be honest with you, it was $10. I lied to you. It was $10. I saw it on the shelf.
Not $10 on the replacement.
I looked on the shelf and I was like, even if this game sucks, the bag is worth $10.
Yeah.
So I bought it. It's my number 4. Element.
With silver.
With silver.
Because I was told that matters.
It does. It's an expansion.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if it would have been easier to get it separate, that'd been fine too. But what is good about this game is that it is, one, playing it without silver, which is the expansion, is a unique game in itself. Essentially, you are the avatar. And your opponent is the avatar. And you have a blind bag, and you pull out elements as a hand, or you get a certain number of actions. You can either move or attack. You pull out of the bag, you get to decide. Do I want to move? And you can choose to move, and you have to move, and then
So
you pull up this.
So it's a skirmish game.
Yes.
Okay.
So the whole
I would not have guessed that from the cover.
no, and you can play up to 4 players.
Oh, okay.
Each element interacts with its others in different ways. The first time I played this game was against one of my friends, and I think he might have been the most frustrated I've ever seen that man, because every single time that he set up a strategy, I would just immediately put one piece in to be able to alter his entire strategy immediately.
That bag does look nice, even on the box. Even on the box,
That's
the
why
bag
I
looks
bought it.
nice.
Yeah, well, when I saw it, it's like, okay, that's worth $10. The character pieces are nice.
Mm-hmm. The character pieces look like the Onitama pieces.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say that the actual chips you put down to represent the elements,
Could have been better.
well, leave something to be desired. They're small plastic discs. If you had actual small fire, water, and clouds and things on the list to upgrade, it'd be fun. The expansion adds, so the first game comes with fire, water, earth, and wind. In the expansion, you add a 5th element that then alters how the other ones interact with each other. And that 5th element is lightning, nature, and steel. And I will say that some of them are much stronger than others if you want to play with it altered. Is this game going to be everyone's favorite? Absolutely not. Have I enjoyed every single time I've played this game? Yes, because it's like chess, except I'm the avatar. And so you're constantly running because the way the game ends is if you're trapped and you cannot make a move, or if you get like waylaid by certain things. There's like certain ways you can win by maneuvering the different elements. Super great game. I really enjoyed it because of the way each element interacts with itself. So like water can only flow from water. Mm-hmm. You can't make a brand new water. It always has to flow from the original water place. Fire spreads every turn. And then like earth stops all other elements, and then the wind connects to itself, and then when you can put lightning into it, and then it causes it to be a trap, which is where I really messed up my dear friend Will. And you can only remove certain things with other elements by playing them in a certain way. It's very cool. Really enjoy it. Highly suggested as a game.
Well, one thing is 100% for certain with you putting this on your list. My games typically tend to be on the main road, and I've got some that go off on some side roads, like Taverns Tiefenthal, things like that, right? I go off on some side roads. I would have guessed that this man would have won the award. You have definitely won the most esoteric award here. This is the most rare thing I think would have possibly made the top 10. You win the unique award.
No, that's completely fair.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, picked it up on a whim.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's probably not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but for me, it's also fast.
Right.
Game's 30 minutes.
That's the point, though. That's why I think it's interesting. Is like this random game that so many other people have probably not even played, not even heard of, is your number 4. Mm-hmm. I think that's cool. That this completely not off the main road, dirt road game
100%
is your number 4. I think that's cool.
It's fun. Number 4, Element. I'm the only one at this table who's played it, I'm pretty sure. So
Yep, for sure.
At some point, if we will have to sit down and enjoy this one.
Is it straight 2 players?
No, it's 4 player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know how much 4 players changes. I imagine it's wild.
I don't know if we're ready for that.
Buckle up.
I am.
All right. Well, my number 4. I'm gonna need y'all to stick with me on this one because you probably think.
Are you about to win the award?
Probably not in terms of esoteric because it's not a board game as such because it only has what you put into it. It's a little game a lot of people call 1,000 blank white cards, which I'm a little upset that this group doesn't have a deck. But the basic concept is everyone begins the game with a set number of blank index cards, usually 10, and you make cards. You draw a little art on them, add some random rules text, and then you shuffle up and deal for the entire table and play that game you have just made. You have fun, you take the cards that were your favorites and save them, and the rest you throw away. And the next time you play, you shuffle in the old cards and make 10 new ones for every player. And this has led to some of my favorite moments in gaming. Like, Phil, I know you're not watching, but Phil, Grill Me a Cheese is a legitimate card that we would play.
You in the video.
Yes, but if he was, there was a card. If Phil was playing and someone played, Phil, Grill Me a Cheese, he had to get up from the table and grill us a grilled cheese. And he would do it every time without fail. It made my day every time. I never got to play it, but God, it made me happy.
Are you mad at Scott? I'm mad at Scott. Why have we never played this?
I don't know.
It sounds like a great Christmas present.
It's not a present. You actively do it every time you
No,
get
you just buy 10,000. You buy 10,000 cards and just have them in the place, and then you pull out so many each time you play.
Sure. But
I want to play
I
this.
genuinely...
This sounds like perfect for the retreat.
It is. Every gaming group that meets regularly should have this game. It should be in the back pocket for them at all times.
You're in trouble.
I agree.
You're in trouble. This sounds incredible.
2 things. So let's just set this out now, and it's on video, so it has to be done. 1, it needs to happen. 2, we need a cool storage system.
That's your job. You're good at those.
Okay,
You're good
I'll
at
find
those.
a cool.
It speaks to Lucas's character. That is immediately where his mind went. Like, storage systems. Oh, there's so many. There's so much potential.
His mind goes to storage solution. My mind immediately goes to how do we upgrade this?
That's the appeal. Is just a Ziploc bag full of note cards. Like, hey, you guys want to play?
Lucas is over here pulling out from his filing cabinet of games the acrylic setup cards that I have placed in there for him.
Like in card protectors, like the tarot size sleeves.
Yeah.
Well,
I have
it'll be-
upgraded the absolute bejesus out of it, and this man has a filing cabinet full of them.
All I'm saying is it makes a lot of sense to put them in cassette tapes. Those cassette tape cases, and then you could have a modular game where you can combine certain sets as you play over
Are
time.
you advocating for a cube system? Like Magic Cube?
Yes.
Of course you are.
All I'm saying is, the retreat, I intend on having it until the end of time. Every year, year over year, they just keep coming back, and we keep adding. I'm just saying, laying it out there, you're in charge. Do it.
Okay. Well, I love it because it can be as simple or as complicated, as memey or as serious as you want it to be. It's always going to be memey because people. But it's the perfect game for when you don't have a game, in my opinion.
All right, my number 4. This game was 18 last year. This one shot up to number 4. In the past, it was 18 last year. The year before that, it was 12. And the year before that, it was 7. So it has bounced around. This one shot back up for me. This one is similar to the reason Lords of Waterdeep shot up. I have played hundreds of hours of this game on the Steam app. And I am not sick of it. I just want more. And there are so many expansions to it. Don't worry, there's plenty to be made. There are maps, there are expansions, and I got them all. It's heavy. Terraforming Mars.
Yep.
This is my baby. This is one of my babies right here. I have a lot of money in this box. There is so much money in this box. I have the upgraded everything. The upgraded storage, the upgraded components, the 3D printed tiles. I have the neoprene playmats for all of the maps. I have every expansion. Oh my goodness, there's so many ways to play this game and it's so good. The theme is so spot on. You are literally raising the oxygen levels. You are literally raising the temperatures. You are raising the water and the plants and putting down cities. And the ways you score in this game, there are so many different ways to score. And once you include all the expansions, there's basically one set of cards that you can basically turn it into a take that game. And you can literally just go, we're going to shuffle these into the deck, and every third card being played is going to screw someone over. There are different variants to play the game where you can play it base or you can play a variant to score in different ways. I personally have a variant that I love. It's actually the way I tend to teach people the game. But even just the normal base game is absolutely phenomenal. But the more you add to it, this game just grows in positive ways. Like, most games can get overbearing the more you add. This one is definitely not a light game. It's not something you're going to teach a newbie. especially not something you're going to upgrade and add expansions for newbies. But this is a game that if you teach someone, the next time you add something, the next time you add something, and you add and you add and you add, and there's so much to it that this game will just grow with you. And that is how I am with this one. This one shot back up for me by playing the app, because my problem before is I couldn't get to the table enough, because it is a daunting game when you lay it out there. Excuse me. But I was able to get it played so much more on the app that it just reinvigorated my love for it, and I have got it to the table 3 times this year, and next year I'm hoping to get to the table even more, because I want to start teaching our group the expansions. So, I'm excited. I love this game. Terraforming Mars is fantastic. And, this game, yes, what's here and inside this, very expensive. Much monies. However, typically I tell people, unless you're a weirdo like me, or, me, you don't need to do that. I recommend it for this game. This game, the more money you put into it, honestly, I think the better it is. Because the base game is great. I don't want to say it's not. Like, even just using the base components, you will have fun, and you'll be like, wow, this is a pretty game. Wow, this is good. But the more money I've put into this game, I've had even more and more fun. And that's usually rare. I tell people not to do that. But this one, I think it's worth it.
Pretty solid app on Steam as well.
Yes, it is.
Number 3. I'm only going to pull out one. There's an entire box of games. I'm going to show the original. Call to Adventure.
Call to Adventure.
This was a 2019 Gen Con purchase.
Yes, it was.
I saw the art and said, that looks cool, and I'm interested.
You bought this, and we immediately went to Union Station and played it.
Yep, and then found out very quickly the table was not big enough.
No. We were playing at a little, like, the little bar stations, like, this big in Union Station, and, like, nothing, and it was literally spilling out onto us. I remember my little, like, player section I had in the seat beside me.
Yes. Now, so this game is, I will say this, when they finally did it for Epic Origins, which is the third massive expansion to this game, they fixed it. This is basically D&D, the board game, as a character builder. But it's not like Role Player, where you're building stats. This is your backstory generator. You start with an origin, you start with a current set, like what you might consider a class, and then you have a legacy, which is something you're attempting to achieve. And your whole entire thing is you specialize into different stats, and then you have, what I think is really cool, and I will show it, are these little runes. Instead of dice, you have a 2-sided rune that you cast.
I love that, and even the base game component of that is great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
Every piece of those is great. I will say the only thing that's not astounding in the base game is the little red gems, because they're flat plastic, or they're like not plastic, they're like a cardboard, but so those are worth upgrading.
Yes.
The rest of it, top notch. The art is beautiful. So the first game is called Adventure. There are multiple expansions. There's a Name of the Wind expansion, there's a Stormlight Archive expansion, and then the last one was Epic Origins, where it's a story game with a legacy component. I have not got to play any of that. Ironically enough, I got it, and that's when I think COVID hit, and then we just never got a chance to play after that much with this game, because it is a bit of a play. It takes some time, and every time I've played it since then, I've ran it for people.
It's a bit of a teach, too.
It is, and it's not it is a little gamey when you're playing, because I'll also say this, I've only ever played cooperative. The game is meant to be played competitively, or at least this one is. The last one, Epic Origins, is not. It's a story game, and Stormlight Archive is also not. Everything else is meant to be played competitively. I don't think that makes the game better. In fact, I would argue that it takes something away from the fun of the game when you're playing it alone, like playing it against each other. Otherwise, I think this game is incredible. I strongly suggest this is one that you don't need the expansions, but the expansions will make the game fun. And I think that if you're going to buy it, the base game is great, but Epic Origins is where I would start. Yeah. It lets you do a lot more with it, and I think that it's just a better play. They've refined a lot of the systems in that way, but I've played it since the beginning. I've bought everything
literally
they've
since
made.
It came out.
Yep, and I will purchase every upgrade they make for it.
Yep.
Going forward.
Sister games, everything. Mm-hmm. Yep. And since our Christmas Day video, this is now your most tricked out game.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's the one I had the most everything with.
You've got deluxe everything.
Yep.
Yeah. Playmat's really treat. I like the playmat.
Playmat's
really nice.
I would say it's not necessary, but it is very good, because the basic setup of the game can be a little confusing if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. That it did not make my top 100. I haven't played it in probably two and a half years.
Longer,
Yeah, maybe 3. It's been a while since I played it. It's one that I feel like I need to get back to the table because I feel like because I played it like 3-4 times, something like that, maybe 3. I feel like the last 2 times I played it, I didn't appreciate it the way I should have for different reasons. And I feel like if I went back into it with a better mindset now, I think I would enjoy it way more than I have.
Also, little piece of advice. At the end of the game, you have your tableau of cards. There's a way this works, and you should do this, and I promise you it will make it better. I have gotten some of the greatest clips ever from this. At the end of the game, you take your cards, you set them in order, however you want, but then you tell the story of your character. Mm-hmm. You start with your origin, or sometimes you don't. Sometimes you want to keep that secret. And you take each of the cards. Each of the cards has a mission that you've completed. You tie those together and create this story of how you've made your way into the game. It's so much fun. Once again, I've got some great meme ones. I have some really well-written stories that came from this of a character. I love the game, and I think that the Epic Origins only makes that better because not only do you then get this story, you can also take, this is so cool, and which I don't know how they'll do this with the new edition, but you can directly transfer all of the stats, all of the cards, and everything you have into a D&D character sheet immediately. Yeah. One of my dreams is to take a group, play Call to Adventure Epic Origins, start with that being the start of their characters, bring us to whatever level we decide that goes into.
Play roleplay for your stats.
Play roleplay for stats, or stats come with this. It'll actually do stats for you as well, but that may be an option too. And then I have another game for world building that then you build the world with your team, with your group. You play that game as well as this game. Everything's then made by your players, and then you initiate the story together. I think it'd be a really cool opportunity. The game has a lot of potential. Yeah. Call to Adventure is one of my favorite games.
I will say one of my favorite things about when I have played this game was the storytelling at the end. Like putting all your cards together, that was one of my favorite parts.
It's hilarious sometimes. And man, sometimes it's really, like they tie together perfectly sometimes.
Well, it also, if you know you're going to do it at the end, sometimes it influences what cards you go for because you're like, that fits great with my story. Mm-hmm. It's not great for my game, but that's great for my story.
And I keep them. I keep all of them recorded just for the future, just because I think it's cool to go back and listen to them.
Yeah, it's good. It definitely fits you like hardcore. Like the moment we saw this, I knew it fit you. But then we played it, I knew this was a game for you.
Oh yeah.
Well, my number 3. I'm not fighting that big box up here again, but I held my tongue as long as I could for Wingspan.
Because, do it. Get up here.
All right. Well, I'm gonna make Lucas blow his back out.
Nah.
Sorry.
Wingspan.
So, Corey says that this kicked off the nature theme in board gaming. I think this actually kicked off a different series of games, and that's something I would call the pastel games. The games that you could have a nice glass of wine over, and it would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
These games, they're beautiful to look at. You can play them with anyone, and it's elegant simplicity. Lucas said it best when, you're accidentally learning bird facts. That makes me stupidly happy.
The cards in this game, all the information on those cards is kind of mind-blowing when you realize what all's on there. Mm-hmm. Like, just the little bird facts, the wingspan on them. I literally could name you almost every bird in the base set because, you just learn them and you're like, oh, I know what that bird is now. And, you just know it.
Yeah, and I'll also say, Corey is a mental patient when it comes to buying upgrade components for all of his games, but Wingspan's one of the ones I genuinely get a happy center every time I see the upgraded different bird wooden tokens. Yay!
So the base game plays 5 people, so you really only need 5 upgraded sets of birds. I think I have 20 some.
It tickles my happy bone.
Yeah, this is. I actually heard somebody talk on a video a while back saying that they genuinely think this game has more upgraded components made for it than any game ever.
With good reason.
Yeah, I can literally tell you 3 companies off the top of my head that all make different components, and they have made so much. They have entire sections of their store dedicated to nothing but Wingspan. It's nuts.
I love the little nests that you can get. Like if you're looking, like you don't have to have any of it, and the game's great. But having nests, having the little bird feeder with the dice thing.
Bro, I literally went to Michael's and bought a little bird nest. It's in here.
I know.
I literally went to Michael's and bought a little bird's nest.
And I would argue the only reason Wormspan isn't contending with it is because it doesn't have as big expansions as this.
Yeah.
You really think so?
I enjoyed Wormspan.
Wormspan's Dragon Den mechanic, or however you want to describe it, is very interesting.
Yes, I like that they actually changed it enough from Wingspan that I thought, this is worth another look.
Oh, it's like it's. I mean, obviously, it's its sister game. It like. You both look like your parents, but you are very different people, right? Like, you're clearly related, but you are very different people. All right. My number 3 has already been on Lucas's list.
Oh, so you make me get that box again. I'm done.
Number 3 is viticulture. Viticulture. Oh, my goodness, viticulture. I have been playing this game for years. I have been upgrading this game for years. If you can't tell, my top 10, all I do is just upgrade. Like, they didn't hear the word upgrade that much in the first 80. But in the top 20, it's nothing but, if I like a game, I'm committed. And this game, oh my goodness. It works so well. The fact that you can play in so many different ways. All of the little upgraded, I guess you'd call them buildings, powers, whatever you want to call them, the little... like the things to help you grow your grapes, to grow more cards, the house, the barn, the things like that. The fact that they are balanced in their cost and that you have to find the perfect idea of which ones you want to buy because you're never going to get them all in one game. You have to figure out which route you want to go down. I love that. The fact that you can win in so many different ways. You can go heavy on the cards. You can go heavy on trying to make the wine. You can grow the grapes. However you want to go into this game, there are so many ways to play it. And then when you include Tuscany and you include the area control map to gain points as well, it gets so good. The fact that when the Essential edition came out and it included the Mamas and Papas, it included the Grande Worker, this game just exploded. Base game, base before Essential, before the Mamas and Papas and the Grande were an expansion at that point, still a fantastic game. And then it just got better once they were included, and then it just gets even better with Tuscany. This is one of those games that just keeps on giving every time you play it. The theme is interesting. Especially at the time this one came out, there weren't that many games centered around these, off the beaten path, themes. They were all very much your war games that included orcs and warriors. They were all very much, you had some nature games, you had some fantasy themed, you had your space games. They were all just that top level theming, right? And then you have a game about making wine. And it's that's so cool. My wife loves this game, and I would say this is one of the heavier games she likes. She'll even play Tuscany with me, which definitely takes it to a whole nother level of difficulty. And it's just peaceful. You're just making your wine, you draw some cards, oh, I'm going to grow this grape, oh, I'm going to make that wine, oh, I'm going to send my little guys out. It's so nice, but one of my favorite parts about it is the getting for the wake-up call, the order for the wake-up call, and, debating what you want. Do I want to be earlier to wake up? Or do I want this great thing? Do I want the bonus character? Especially once you start playing a 4-player game and it really turns into a dance of where are you going to land on that wake-up call. I think that is a big deal as well. I just think this game just keeps giving and giving the more I play it. And Stonemaier, so many of their games. I can't say enough about them. Stonemaier is one of the first publishers I think of when it comes to gaming. Because when they do it right.
Yeah.
And they deserve praise for that. And Jamie Stegmaier, I have watched so much of his stuff between his YouTube podcast show, whatever you want to call it, their newsletter, whatever. Jamie cares about what he does. He cares about his games, and he puts it into his games. And I was literally talking earlier today. I opened up a game and punched it, and I was a little upset about the components because I don't want to put it on blast, but it's a fairly popular game, and it was made to be fairly distributed, if that makes sense. And the pieces didn't pop well, the storage solution inside wasn't good, and I'm excited to play the game, but I was complaining about the way it was displayed to me. Jamie does not do that. He is going to give you a completed package that when you open it, you are going to be happy with it. And Stonemeyer deserves praise for that.
I agree.
So, number 3, Viticulture.
Well done.
Number 2, the best game that's not the best.
That's true. The almost best.
The penultimate.
The first loser.
Mine is another game that requires you have to have the right group.
I'll say this one. I won't use the word Corey factor. I'll just say, because you've been saying like Corey factor. This one requires the right group,
100%.
not like the right person.
It is, I agree. But you do need to have that. Well, I'll say Corey factor because to me it's not particularly personal to you. It's just that you tend to be the one who I associate with most games.
Yeah.
This one I would argue that you need a Scott. This is another game I would argue is in my wheelhouse, especially with the right group because Scott actually makes logical arguments. I can gaslight people, and people are dumb, and it's really great, and it's my favorite way. This is all about bamboozling in the funnest of ways. So All Rise is, at its heart, a memery of the judicial system.
Yes.
Which is a meme in itself. So, I'll say that if you don't have the right group, it's not as much fun. Mm-hmm. But if you have the right group, this game is a blast.
Yes.
And to me, it is. I've yet to not have a good time with it. I've had fun every single time, and I think I love being on the argumentative side. But I also know that I can't just do that with just anyone because it's not going to be fun on the other side.
Yeah.
So essentially you're going to be making arguments based off of evidence cards that are like absolutely insane. For me, I had the amber from Jurassic Park as a piece of evidence to prove that my client didn't kill someone with a Zamboni. That was my entire point of my case. It is a blast in terms of if you enjoy that legalese and you enjoy the like back and forth, and if you have a group that's not, I don't think this would be fun to play with lawyers because I think they would take it too seriously. You need people who are familiar with the law, but just familiar enough to understand pieces of it and not familiar enough to actually care about the idiosyncrasies of it. Yeah. Then this game's perfect. So this is incredibly particular to the group you play it with. But I promise you, if you play it with a group, oh my goodness.
I mean, again, if it tells you anything, this is our second 3-way crossover. Because you're number 2, you're number...
I don't remember.
It was my 77, so it's lower for me. But it still made my top 100. I love it. It's fantastic.
It's my 14.
14, so 2, 14, and 77. It second 3-way crossover.
Yep, perfect game in that regard.
Yep.
There's one lie printed around in front of the box. It says 3 to 10. You can... The more people, the better.
It's
10 people maybe only able to play, but people love watching.
If I'm putting a legit number on it, because you can go too high. Like, what's a regular jury? Is it 12? Is it a normal jury? Is it 12?
12 people on the jury.
Yeah, 12. That's what I thought. 12. Yeah, because 12 angry men. Yeah. So 12 people on jury. I would say like that plus 2 prosecutors, 2 defense. Like 16, I would say like a high,
and a
like
judge.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking like a top number because you can do as many witnesses as you want. 20, 25 would be like your top number.
Yeah.
But the point is, you can make this a show.
Yeah.
Like you can go all out.
That's my point. Is the peanut gallery? They're gonna have a blast even though they're not playing.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Like obviously, there's a point where you're like, okay, this is too much. But like you can go all out. Is my point. Like, and the more you put into it, the more you're going to get.
100%. And you have to put things into it. It's the same thing with Ready, Set, Bet. I'll say, if this game was played with the wrong group, it's going to be unfun. You're going to bore yourself to death, and no one's going to have fun. I'll also say this. You also have to have, because we've had one game, which it only turned out to be funny in the long run. We have people who don't know anything about legal process. It goes a different direction, okay? Because then people are making arguments that aren't even about the actual case. It's wonderful. And so there's a level of you have to match up your prosecution and defense with a similar level of familiarity with the legal system. If you don't, though, that also might be hilarious in another way. I don't know. I just feel like it'd be unfun to be the person who is getting ready to get stomped because there's no way you know. But it's so much fun. It is. Number 2 for me. I do think this one will slowly move down the list the more I play it, if I'm being truthful. But it's new. We've played it a lot.
Actually, I'm 99% sure you two don't know this because I haven't purchased them. There are not what you would call expansions to it, but there are case files that make the game bigger.
Well, it looks like I'll be purchasing
Yeah,
some things.
and like they add new things, like they're like mini expansions.
Okay.
Just saying. Something
Looks like something to look forward to.
Something I've not told you about, but you can consider. And I think there's like 3 of them, maybe 4.
I will say libations help with that game a lot. Just saying.
Well, to an extent.
Well, that's true for all of life.
Oh.
I did a good job.
Yeah.
I did.
You did a great job.
My number 2. One thing I harped on a lot on my list is elegant simplicity. If you do it right and you don't need a lot of rules, chances are you got a great game. And there's games that I would argue do it better, but way more complicated than it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 is Dixit. It does everything you want it to. It's a charades game where you're playing with beautiful art. I could play this with my 8-year-old nephew. I could play this with an 80-year-old grandma, and all of them would understand it within 3 minutes and have the exact same amount of fun every single time, even if they've seen the art 1,000 times before. And the expansions are beautiful and add a lot to the game. It is as close to perfect as a game gets, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's got plenty of expansions. It's got plenty of extra material to add to it. This game can grow as much as you want it to, because I have seen people on BGG and stuff who have made their own cards and just said, "Hey, here's our cards," because it's not like the cards have to follow some rule. There's just art. Like you could draw stick figures on index cards and say, "Here's our deck. We're gonna play with this deck." And like it's awesome, but the actual art of the cards in this one do enhance it because they're so beautiful. And it's one of those that's like, the more you know about the people around the table can be both a hindrance and a benefit, because you can overthink it too much by knowing someone, or you can be like getting every single one right about that person, but you're the only one, so you're not really maximizing your points.
I love it from the opposite. This is my favorite game to play with someone I've just met. Like,
Yes.
I'm about to learn a lot about you real quick.
Yep. No, that's fair. And the deep cut references that can come from this game is incredible. And like it's one of those awkward but funny moments when you make the perfect, most amazing reference about a card that you quickly realize no one at the table knows. Nobody. And you're sitting there like, "Oh, it's me."
I'm the problem. It's me.
I've done that more than once.
Me too. Same.
Yeah. Great game though. I love it. I will say, shocked it's this high. Like shocked. It's because I mean for me it was down there without looking. It was like 80 something, 70 something. It was on here for me. I love the game, but it's for someone to have this game that high, like, it speaks to it. Like to me, this is like someone saying again, like not to harp on this game, but like people love it. Someone having Dominion this high. It's so basic. Like Dominion's basic. Dixit is basic, right? But people love it so much that number 2. Like, that's awesome.
I mean, this game's always compared to Mysterium. Like, everyone makes the comparison because,
And
like, that's more of a game than
I
this one
prefer
is.
Mysterium because I prefer more of that.
But they trimmed all the fat for this. Like, literally all the rules are on the board. There's 3 of them.
Have you played Obscurio?
I have.
Yeah, most people I talk to say that those 3 go hand in hand, and Obscurio for most people is the best one.
Yeah, I'd agree. It definitely beats out Mysterium for me, but this one, it's there. It's all right there on the board.
See, I'm the opposite. Obscurio is actually my least favorite of the 3. I go Mysterium, Dixit, Obscurio. Yeah, because there's something about the goofiness of the Ghost in Mysterium that just makes me so happy. It makes me so happy.
So, my number 2, Dixit.
Good one. My number 2 and my number 1 have been my number 1 and 2 for 3 years. These 2, I want to see the day that either of them are knocked off my 1 and 2. It'll happen eventually. Like, eventually, just a game will come out that has to do it. But for now, they're staying. And they're strapped in, they're buckled, they've welded themselves to the seat. This is another game that almost any gamer who's been in the hobby for a while will know, but every gamer will say, "This fine." They'll all be like, "This is fine." They prefer Fury of Dracula. They prefer Spectre Ops. They prefer Mind Management. And then the other 70% of people will go, I don't like hidden movement. And I'll go, you're wrong. And my favorite hidden movement and one of the best games is Letters from Whitechapel. This is hidden movement in its purest form. There are 100 whatever number of places on the board. I'm moving, you're looking for me, end of story. That's the game. And I love it. I'm literally just trying my best to move from house to house, from street to street, without you finding me. I am leaving clues behind for you to search for. You are trying to find my path so that you can find my hideout. There are 4 rounds, and it's based around the Jack the Ripper killings. I know that is a, dark theme that may be off-putting to some people, and if you don't play it for that reason, I totally understand. That is a off-putting theme to so many people. I am a weirdo and find that theme very interesting. Many people do, but I fit into that weird little group that finds it interesting. It is very thematic, and it follows the real-world actions very well. So again, if that's off-putting to you, I understand. But to me, that makes it even more interesting, is that it follows the thing so well. But just the mechanics is why I love it. Nothing makes me happier than when I am standing beside you, and you don't know I'm there, and I have left a perfect little trail of clues to stop you from finding me because I have stopped your searching mechanic. And the moment that I make that happen, and you go, oh, so there's a clue here, I'm standing behind you, you're like, he went that way! And I'm like, yes, I did. And then I will literally follow you. It makes me so happy. This hidden movement is something that I understand why people wouldn't like it. The game can be over on turn 3. If you screw it up, the game can be over. That's just a fact. And I'm fine with that. I genuinely am, because it is literally just a cat and mouse, and if you're the mouse, you're running the risk of getting caught. But nothing feels better than when you don't get caught. And I've played on both sides. I do. So playing as the detectives, whatever, the Scotland Yard, playing as them, I give this game like an 8.5 out of 10. It's very good. But playing as Jack, this is a 7,000 out of 10. I could not love it more. If you are asking me to grade this game just on the Jack side, it's my number 1. It beats my number 1 just on the Jack side. But as a whole, it falls all the way down to number 2. Still fantastic. If you want a pure hidden movement, you don't want all the fluff of Fear of Dracula, all of the fluff of My Management, you just want to play cat and mouse, run from each other down the streets of Whitechapel and have them hunt for you, the police, leave clues. This is the way to do it. It's fantastic. And again, this is one for me. I have a goal of getting it to the table every single year. We have a couple days left. And for me, 99 spots later, so many hours in front of this camera, and the first time I've ever put my top 100 on video. I've posted it for years on all my channels. This is the first time I've done it in video. This has been a crazy ride. I've thoroughly enjoyed every second of doing it. Thank you guys for joining me in this. It made it so much fun. I plan on doing this top 100 every year. I plan on the top 10 coming out on New Year's Eve every year. So, for 2024, our number 1 games of all time. Busted.
Number 1. Now, I've already been told I have chosen the most esoteric game before. Let me do it again.
Yes. Yes.
Now, Shobu.
Can I preface it with saying the game is rocks?
It is rocks.
The game there's a string and rocks.
And the string's not even important, really. It's just different stats.
And rocks.
So, I'll explain kind of my thought process. When I found this game at Gen Con the first time we went, I picked it up because it was interesting. And if I remember correctly, I didn't even buy this game intentionally. I bought it because it was a part of, if you bought a game, you got a thing for free. Mm-hmm. And I got an expansion for a game I needed for free. So that's why
so good for your favorite game of all time.
Yeah, well,
like, they're getting it in that
have
way.
Have you noticed that both of them were complete accidents?
Mm-hmm.
Like with Element and with this one, complete accidents.
Yep.
This one, it hits something for me that maybe this is why it's so high on my list. I have always had a dream. I don't like chess. And I will explain why I don't like chess. In that, one, I think it's very mainstream, and it has become gamified to an extent that it's competitive. It loses what I like about what chess is. at my expense, or in my experience.
Kind of like a battle of wits thing.
Yes. Well, what I love is it's the scene in the show where the mentor sits down with the mentee and they teach him a game. And the game is not really, it's not about the game, it's about them talking over a game.
And how you think.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's all about, like, it has nothing to do with the game per se, but the game is the tool with which you talk about life and the things about it. So I don't like chess. Go is inaccessible to me because, one, I don't have $700 to spend on a board. It's on my list.
That's my reason for Crokinole.
Yeah. One
Very
day,
different game, but that's my reason for it.
one day I will own a Go board, maybe. But for me, this fits all of that. It is
Very accessible way.
so much.
Came with, like,
It's simple.
$25.
Yes, it's cheap, it's simple, and you can teach it to someone within 10 minutes, but it is very difficult to master. What I like is that even when you're playing as a novice, you have a chance to outplay someone who's played the game before, but there is always, it's a constant push and pull. The mechanics are not complex. Like I said, it's a quick and easy game to learn. But I will also say that it is very deep in the strategy because every piece interconnects to something else. And so you're not just playing one set at a time. That's the reason why there's two sets of boards. There's a dark set and a light set, and you're constantly playing. If you move on one, you don't get to move on the other, and you're having to mirror different things in the way they work. So I love it. I think it's a great game. I would strongly suggest anyone picking it up, especially because it is a cheap game. But for me, I envision it's a dream. I have a small dream of a backwoods, small farm cottage, sitting on the front porch in a rocking chair with my grandkids or someone who just needs some help, sitting on the front porch and playing Shobu. That is what is nice to me, and talking about life and the things we've learned and the struggles we have, and that's why it's my number one.
All right, I'll grab my box of tissues.
It's everyone else cries this time.
This blows me away for you specifically, because first off, I've been trying to guess his top 10 before the whole Christmas video happened, and I had to see it ahead of time. I got sent his top 10 by Scott, and I had one of those visual sitting in the car by myself moments when I saw this was his number one. I clicked the email. Absolutely shocked, because you keep talking about how you were surprised how much theme matters to you. Mm-hmm. I kind of see you as Mr. Theme, because Called Adventure, you're literally talking about creating a story with the cards at the end of the game. Your favorite game of all time is an abstract.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy to me. Your reason why makes perfect sense. It's awesome. I love it. But literally, Mr. Theme's favorite game of all time is an abstract. That is the most just competitive thing I've ever seen in a mindset.
The theme is external.
Oh, okay.
The theme transcends into real life.
Yeah, clearly.
That's the abstraction.
I'm the idiot.
Good.
Scott's number one.
My number one. Diverging from the peace and tranquility of Lucas's number one, I'd like to start off by saying I am 6'6", 280 pounds, and I've styled myself as a gentle giant all my life. This is a hill I'm willing to die on. Fight me. My number one is...
Just square up to the entire audience? This man starts at number one with, sup?
the D&D starter box with Lost Lines of Fendelver. My number one board game of all time. Fight me. It's the best storytelling vehicle of all time. I'll agree, there are other tabletop role-playing games that do it better than D&D, but it's the one that's the most accessible. It is the one that has started the most stories and fun and shared experiences across the entire planet. Fight me. Thoughts?
You first.
It comes in a cardboard box, don't it?
It literally does.
It has a board.
It comes in the board game box. It literally does. I have it in that room. It's literally in there. And Lost Minds of Fandelver is awesome. It's a great starter story. You first.
I want to argue with him, but he told me he's going to fight me.
The question here is, and this is a great one. You are about to feel my comment section. So, you're about to feel it. Does it count is the true question, right? Like, that's the question is, does it count?
Hey, you let some doozies slip through before. 1,000 blank white cards. If you were like, no, I'd be like, yeah, you're right. Fight me.
It's just because RPGs is its own section, right? Like, that's the argument, is that RPGs is its own section.
Disagree.
I don't know, because here's the thing. I want to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be on your side.
Yeah.
But then things like, this is actually genuinely the argument.
Yeah.
Call to Adventure Epic Origins
Yeah.
is legitimately the same, almost the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the player choices are made by a roll of a roll of runes instead of dice.
I have reasoning, because genuinely, because normally, 100%, I'll be straight up. Normally, I would say no, invalidated. I'd just straight up, I'd be like, no, different list, like, no. I have a reason. That for me, you're good. Like, as far as I think it counts, you're good. It's because it's your number one.
And there's pre-made characters.
Yeah, like, it's because it's your number one. Because I have the same argument for Magic Gathering. I would say invalidated. That is a tradable card game. It's, it's its own thing. It's separate. It doesn't fit the category. But if you just said that as your number one, I'd have been like, okay, yes, I get it. Makes sense. It's the fact that it's your number one for me makes it make sense. If that makes sense to you, like that's how my brain rationalizes it. Is it's your number one? If you just said it's your number 7, I would have argued with you all day.
There's a reason it's a number one.
Well, yeah, you're you.
So you're creating a small existential crisis. So I guess my thought process on this is, because I'm genuinely considering like that's a fair point in terms of how, especially in terms of impact. It's definitely got to be up there.
Oh yeah, no.
As a whole.
Oh, when it comes to most important games of all time in modern gaming, because I'm not going to count like Go, like modern gaming, it's Magic the Gathering, Catan, and D&D. Those are the 3 most important. Period. I won't listen to you any other arguments. Those are the 3 most important. So yes, when it comes to importance in gaming, those are the 3 modern trio. So that's my brain reasoning is because this is number one. If this is number 7, I'd sat here and argued with him till the cows came home. But because it's number 1, I'm chill with it because it makes sense.
Oh, now I'm curious because I actually own 2 D&D board games. One of them survived the flood. How?
Was it Castle Ravenloft?
No, that's the one that died. That's the one I got new. It was the Legend of the Dritz. That one survived because the box was, in comparison to Comic Hunters, the box was so tight it floated at 9 feet on the ceiling and didn't get water except for on the top pages of the rule book. How? Don't know. That one survived. The box did not survive. Yeah. But the stuff survived. So it's the same, because I've read through it, it is essentially a D&D in the box. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to be willing to say that is a board game because it has it has the tiles, which I would argue, but that has the maps.
Right.
So I agree. I have to get on with you. Yeah.
Scott would come as with the controversial pick. I need you to know though, this is going up as a poll. This is going to be a poll. Yeah. This is good. This will be a poll I put up. 100% is does it count?
You can be on the right side of history if you want.
Like I said, I approve. I approve. And your argument makes sense too, but I approve. If you would have just said D&D, you know another reason my brain is rationalizing this is because he said the starter set, Lost Minds of Phantom. If he would have just said D&D, I think my brain wouldn't be okay with it, but he picked one.
And it is D&D. Well, it's D&D in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is everything in a box.
I actually think I only would have accepted 2 answers, the starter Fandalvir or Strahd. I think those are the only 2 arguments I would have accepted. Yeah, any other one, even if it's your favorite, I still wouldn't have accepted it. Because it's also about popularity, fame, thing. I think those are the only 2 I would have accepted.
I thought long and hard about this one. Had to squeak it
Controversy.
Yep.
I ain't gonna lie, when you started to talk about the 1,000 white cards one, the way you started your sentence, I legit thought he was about to say Magic the Gathering. I really thought you were.
I actually would have put it on the list, but that's not working. That's what
No! You don't get to do that! You don't get to do that!
Yes, I do!
What?
I
agree. I agree.
Switch.
In the same way that I would argue Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh is not a board game.
No, I agree.
So
But
yeah, no, I'm on board with you.
No, he doesn't get to say it though. We can say it. He can't because he started this.
Magic's fun. It's not a board game.
I really thought he was going to. All right. I was going to do mine and yours together until that long string of bullshit. All right. And my number one to round us off for the year has been my number one for 3 years in a row, and it debuted at my number one. The first time I played this game, I knew I was in love, and it is my most played game of all time. I've done the math, between over-the-board plays, phone plays, and the Steam app plays, I have over 1,100 hours in this game. I've played this game more than most people play most video games. I have so many plays of this. And my over-the-board time is a lot higher than people would expect. Because people are like, well, of course it's that high. You're including, your Steam, your phone. I have a lot of hours in over-the-board. And to me, it's the most perfect game that's ever been made. There is not a genuinely, I know I'm biased, there's not a flaw in the game. I dare someone to find a flaw. Not something you don't like, you may not like something, but a genuine flaw, I don't think there is one. A three-way crossover in the top 10, Wingspan. First off, what was it, 7-3-1? Top 7 for all three of us. That alone should tell you how incredible this game is. Every time something comes out for this game, it's one of those things, like I said, is one of the most upgraded games in history. I have so much of it. So much of it. Every time something comes to my email, I'm like, okay, do we really got to pay the electric bill this month? Like, is that a necessity? I guess I got to see the game on the table. That's kind of how it goes. It's beautiful. Like, and my most common way of playing it, and honestly maybe my preferred, is base. The base is just so good. Like, Europe adds more cards, and it adds new mechanics, and it does the end of round yellow cards, which is incredible. Or no, pink. End of round pink cards. Absolutely incredible. And then Oceania adds the Nectar for the Wild, and it adds the end of game yellow cards. And the fact that they just keep getting better and better and better. The new expansion got announced. I am literally on cloud nine thinking about it. Asia came out, and oh my god, it changed the game entirely. Asia, you can play it by itself. It's its own game, or you can mix it with this game. Asia literally turned the entire game on its head, which just makes it even better. The next 3 expansions, they've already prepared with the nesting box places inside of here to put those expansions. They are thinking long term with this game, and it's obvious why. It is probably the most popular game in the world. It is beloved by all. Yes, I'll say I'm basic for this one, but I'm fine with it because this is one of those things that's like, people who go to sports, people who are Muhammad Ali fans are like, he's the GOAT. I love him because he's the GOAT. And it's like, I can't argue with that. That's a fair argument. That's how I am with Wingspan. It's like, you can't be upset with me for liking arguably the most loved game there is. Boom. Wingspan, how much more do you say about it? Like, how many people out there have really not played Wingspan? And even worse, how many people can say they don't like Wingspan for other reasons than they're sick of it? That's the only reason people can say they don't like Wingspan is they're sick of it. That's just my opinion. There's nothing wrong with the game. I just don't see a flaw in it. Elizabeth Hargrave is incredible. I have 4 of her games right now, and they are all top-notch, and I'm excited for every single time she comes out with anything or announces anything. I'm excited for the expansions. She is one of my favorite designers, and this one right here alone would put her on that list, but her other games are also great. Number 1. That is top 100 and top 30 and top 30. Next year I'll see if I can make them do top 100. They're real good friends. Real great friends.
I don't know if I've got 100 of it on there. I'll be scraping some bottom of the barrel.
Well, in the last video we didn't get you 100, but we got pretty close.
That's true.
So, yeah, I know you can get to 71. We just gotta get him 29 more, Scott. We can get him there. We can get him there. But thank you guys for doing this. I had a blast doing it, and I will say the games I was not expecting. We got everything from this man. We got D&D index cards, and a VHS tape in his top 30. This man's number 1 is an abstract, and the rest of his list is, look at all this thing, guys. I'm basic. All of my like off the beaten path games are like you're driving in the left lane when you should be in the right. that's my off kilter games. Like, I'm not gonna lie about it. Good games are good games. That's my argument. Good games are just good. Well, I do plan on doing a bunch of future lists. I will try my darndest to see if I can get these 2 back. Maybe some little bit different lists, top 10 designers, mechanics. We'll see if I can talk them into it. But regardless, this was awesome to do. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. How was this for you guys?
I think I'm supposed to tell you like and subscribe.
That's smart. I think this is a lot of fun. I think it's made me question like why I like games and what makes them fun to me. Because I'll say in terms of looking at it, totally
not what you expected.
Well, it's things moved in ways I didn't expect when actually trying to sit down and compare them, and so that's kind of interesting. And honestly, having to reflect on them is kind of cool, and especially if I can be truthful, in retrospect of what has happened.
Yep.
Things are in a little bit different light now, and so looking back on it's kind of cool.
Yeah. 5 years of doing this, it is genuinely one of my favorite things I do every single year. I will genuinely go ahead and start tomorrow on 2025's list, and I will go ahead and do Pub Meeple. I'll put them all in there. I've been updating my BGG anyway. I will see where the list lands right now, because I made this one a couple months ago, getting into it, and I've played games since then. Things have changed, right? I'll go ahead and get 2025 started. And then sometime around May, June, I'll do it again, move some things up and down, add some new games, and then at the end of the year, I'll do it one final time. And this is literally a year-long process for me because it is a labor of love that I could not enjoy doing more. And every year, it's something I look forward to. So, thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will be back soon with more videos. I will see you in 2025. I'm going to be doing shorts on the channel. We're going to be starting to do game reviews. I'm going to post my schedule on our community tab on the YouTube channel, so be sure you go check that out. And I've got some really cool ideas coming. Yes, we're a board game channel, but I can promise that we are going to do different stuff than you see on any other channel. You're going to see some of the stuff, the reviews, the things, but I promise you I've got some cool ideas that are going to be different than everybody else is doing. So, I'll see you then. Bye-bye!
Bye.
Basic bitch!
We don't even care about your number one.